A new NBA champion has been crowned, and a Canadian is at the forefront. The new NHL season is underway, and happy Canada Day. Hello and welcome to The House That Happened, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number 1 in our hearts, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Give us a like, give us a comment, and please subscribe. Really helps us out with the algorithm. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name's Cruz. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Huge Canada Day shout out, because it is a long weekend for most people. Any employer that decided to make their employees go to work on Monday is just no fun.
I just took Monday off.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do.
One of my bosses was like, smart.
Yes, when I used to work for the wonderfully excellent Mother Parkers, we always took days like that off. They just knew it wasn't there. But I want to ask you one question. Considering the climate of our country right now, and another bullying move by the elephant across the border just recently, which is this is the most bullying move ever. However, there is some reason to debate it, but we're not the show to do that. All this unity that's supposed to be coming from St. John's to Victoria Island, I'm very skeptical of, because I've been asking everybody lately, just out loud, and people are saying, "Are you crazy, Cruz?" I said, "What makes you proud to be a Canadian?"
Always proud to be Canadian. It's my home. Oh,
I agree. But what are the factors that make you proud to be a Canadian? I'll bet you it's going to be different than the people saying, well, they're proud to be Canadian in Alberta. And I'll bet you it's different from the people that are saying why they're proud to be a Canadian in Quebec.
What's wrong with that?
Then when you tell me about sovereignty and unity, I'm going to say fraud.
I don't buy that.
Just say I don't want to wreck Canada Day, because I am proud to be a Canadian too. And you know what, everyone, I always say this and they say yes. Are you proud to be a Canadian just because you're not American?
Not because of that, no.
Thank you. You're the first person that said that. Everyone goes, yeah, of course. And I go, no. That's well,
the least answer. My grandparents being immigrants, I'm sure I have a different point of view about this than certain other people. So.
Okay, that's the perspective I wanted to bring up. I got it down here. I was going to ask about your grandparents and your parents. I bet you they're very proud to be Canadian, because how the development of the Milani family has come to living in Toronto, that's the Canadian dream. And the way for your family's been able to establish the roots here and bring up 3 kids.
Yep.
And you're all proud Canadians and being really successful. I think that's what's great being a Canadian is.
Living in one of the greatest cities in the world.
No doubt about it. And
I'm Vaughan, but I digress.
I'm in Etobicoke. So what?
Well, Etobicoke's still under Toronto. Vaughan isn't. I'm reminded all the time by people living in the Toronto boundaries.
Stop it. In any event, I've got some stuff to come up and check my other social media events, because I've got a couple things coming up that I'm going to throw out to the world, that why I'm proud to be Canadian and why I'm going to call out all the Canadians that I believe are frauds.
Okay.
So let's have a great Canada Day. And most importantly of all, this is the first Canada Day in a few years that John A. Macdonald will be standing down at Queen's Park. And I think that's really cool. They took him out of the box, eh?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they brought John A. Macdonald back to Queen's Park, which is something that should never have been removed, but that's another story, so let's just get down the road.
Canada's favorite drunken prime minister.
Whatever the case may be, God bless Canada, man.
He did some good things, whatever, but
he
that's not the time.
His toes a couple times, but
more than a few. Shout-outs, let's get right into it. I know you have a big one. I imagine you want to lead off with that.
Okay, first and foremost, I do. I want to say that it's very, very special for people to understand, first and foremost, biology can be overrated. And with that being said, I cannot be prouder, happier, or more jubilant to congratulate my granddaughter, Katie Hamilton, better known as Cassie, but in our house as Pepper Aloysius. Not only was she the Artist of the Year for a great painting she did of all the teachers, she was also the valedictorian, which is huge. And you know the great thing? I want to thank everybody, including my sisters who knew this. I had no idea, bro. We're going through this whole Santa Mary. She won Artist of the Year. I'm going, this is freaking amazing. And then Gail's going, oh, there's only a couple more. I go, yeah, they got to announce the valedictorian, right? And all of a sudden when they announced it, I had a tear in my eye. I was very proud. And
how'd they keep that secret from you?
They just stayed away. She practiced her speech. When I came away, they ran. I'm always down here. Wow, Papa's down watching sports.
Gail knew, though, right?
Oh, everybody knew. My sisters even knew. We went out for dinner and shit. I had, because, education was big in our family, in my family. With my sister being a principal, my father being a university professor, education's been huge in my life all the time. No education, you ain't going nowhere. Even if you have to learn the School of Street Smarts, you still have to have an education.
Sure.
In any event, if you had told me when she was starting grade 9, because that she would be standing up in front of the whole school and making a speech, I would have said, I got a better chance with my lottery ticket. So, Pep, if you're listening, which I'm going to make you listen to, I couldn't be prouder or happier or over the moon about what's going on, and she did a beautiful speech. I want to also shout out to her best friend Haley and her mom Michelle for showing up, and the energy they brought in the room to share with my granddaughter was unbelievable, bro.
That's awesome.
It was a great day. But with that being said, I'd like to do another little bit of shout out because my granddaughter goes to a school called Hayden Park. And if you know anything about Hayden Park, it's a diversified school in the event that if you have any kind of learning disability or of that sort of nature, and my daughter has a little bit of a reading thing that when she started in grade 9, that's why she went to this school. And obviously it worked for her because at the end of the day, here she's got. But we got a little problem right now because they're thinking about actually closing this school down. And the reasons being for it is a bunch of nonsense. Oh, not enough enrollment. They were talking about how many kids were going to enroll, what type of kids were going to be enrolled. And I wasn't aware of a lot of this, okay? And I'm going to talk to my sister about it. But I don't know if you know where Hayden Park is located. It's right downtown, about 3 blocks from Spadina. Now, have you seen the new condo building they built downtown with the really weird balconies?
Yeah.
Okay, it's about 4 minutes walk from there. My take on the matter is this has got nothing to do with the kids. This has got nothing to do with the program. It's just that our government's going to knock the building down to steal the real estate. And isn't that sad? And the reason that I brought this up is because I'm taking it from a sports angle. Aren't we having the World Cup here next year?
We are.
Our wonderful mayor, who's already shaking in her boots every time she brings up the World Cup, which is going to be massively over budget. They're not even telling us why.
She acquired that, though.
Whatever the case may be, I think they should have been a little better. That's our taxpayers' money, bro.
I agree.
So
that's a John Tory fuck up, though.
Oh, I'm okay. Now that we're there, the hats like that.
And he might be running for re-election.
So. Oh, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. It's just the politics there. But my point is, in understanding that is, if you're gonna blow this much money on the World Cup, and everyone says it's for the taxes and the hotelers and people coming to town, all good. But what about the kids and the people in the neighborhood? They're not getting one nickel, are they?
No.
So why can't we?
I mean, this is provincial, the school, though, right?
Yes, it is. And we heard about all the commotion with the government and the school boards as of late. We're not even going to go there. What I'm getting at is just imagine if they took 1% of that over budget that they're going to blow on the World Cup. Couldn't they move Hayden Park to a new location?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Use this. I mean, I understand why we have these big sporting events and where the money goes. However, when you're taking away an institution by this, oh, by the way, Hayden Park, 100 years old.
Wow.
101 years old. If you check out the history of it. And I'm going to tell you, this has nothing to do with the kids, school boards, any of that. This is strictly a real estate deal. And it just made me crazy when I looked around and I and I heard all these people talking and the news was there. It was all on the news. They're doing a little documentary about it. And my point was, this isn't about any of that, people. This is pure real estate. And with that being said, a couple of the parents, one was Camilla Kelsey and one was Ronan Kleeman, were very passionate parents who came up to the microphone and really opened my eyes to what's going on in the school. The only politician that showed up was Jessica Bell, who, it doesn't matter about your political stripe. I'm not going to say where she's from. She did vote in America and Canada. I don't get that part of it. But the fact that she was the only elected official to come down and support the situation where 5 or 6 other people said they were going to, and suddenly they were no-shows. Good luck to Hayden Park and the kids. I think it was very important for me to throw that out there.
All right. My first shout out, no spillage there, thank God. My first shout out is for me and my buddies on Friday night. We went to go see F1 the movie in IMAX. And I gotta say, Cruz, I was a little disappointed.
I could tell. Oh shit! Was it a rom-com?
I enjoyed the trailers more. Put it that way.
Oh gee, that's not good.
This was definitely made for the casual fans. Like, I have a feeling even you would watch and you'd be like, no.
Oh no!
There was some of like bullshit rom-com stuff in there.
Yeah, I told you.
They didn't lead too much into it, but it was enough where it was annoying.
Yeah,
and it was stupid. And you're like, this doesn't make sense.
I don't mean to be the bringer of making it sad or anything, but what was my prediction about this movie? Was going to have a rom-com smell to it?
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, baby.
I've never been so upset that you were right. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be as good as the last Top Gun movie, because if you don't know, this movie had the same director, same writers, same basic production crew as Top Gun Maverick, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like,
I'm going to watch that this weekend.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
I have. Everyone's been telling me, how come you're not seeing it?
That movie's it's a good throwback to like 80s action movies.
Yes. And I heard the plot's good too. The story's good.
There's a good like a rom-com element in there, but like it's a little bit more natural in that one. In F1, it was like, I don't know. And like some of the racing scenes were good. Some of them you could tell, like some of the shots you could tell, like they're just pasting in the Apex GP car into the actual scenes.
Oh, boo.
Yeah. So we're talking after the movie, and then somehow the Sonic the Hedgehog movies came out, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather watch each of those 3 movies over F1. That's no slag against the Sonic movies. That's a slag against the F1 movie.
Oh my God. Now, I didn't mean to be like the arbitrator of things rom-com, but when I just saw what was going on in a bit of the trailers, I always smell. We discussed this in our pre-production meetings. There's only 5 stories you can write when you're making a movie, basically, and we're not going to go into that. You know, you read Hamlet, Macbeth.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Like, this isn't.
I heard it's a solid movie, though.
I mean, technically, I would give it a 6. So some of my friends were saying 7 or 8. I'm admittedly a bit of a harsh marker when it comes to this. I'm saying a 6. And my friend that knows the least about F1 was the one that liked it the most, so you can take that for what it is. Oh,
that's that. You know what? That was the idea, because you're an F1 fan. So you could
We all were, basically, that went to go see it. Like, of the 9 of us, like, I'd say, like, 8 of us are at least, like, ones that, like, watch on a semi-regular basis, at least. But, like, most of us are, like, every race, the guys that went.
And what was the consensus of the serious F1 fans? Wah, 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 wah.
And we all just kind of went like, that was okay.
Oh, boo. You're killing me. I don't know if I'm going to spend $30 to go to the IMAX. I might just wait to my basement, smoke some weed, and save my money,
It had some funny lines. Like, Javier Bardem is by far the best part of the movie.
I figured he'd steal it. The guy's so good anyway, right? But what's his part? Isn't he like
he's the team owner.
The team owner, yeah, that's what I heard. So anytime that guy shows up, you're going to get something good about it. In any event, here's how you look at movies, bro. Everybody can make their own opinion, and maybe they're going to go and see it, because what I'm hoping is, remember, 3 years ago, I didn't know shit about F1. I knew they went around the track. I knew it was the biggest racing thing, and I'm totally fascinated by it now that I've been indulging in it.
You bought in.
100%, because once you buy in, it's amazing. So maybe what the greatest thing is, maybe you'll get some casual fans. Or casual people to get his attention.
I don't know about that. I think those people are already in there with Drive to Survive. I think they're just trying to capitalize on that.
Oh, that was definitely But you see, the difference being is Drive to Survive was so real.
Well, it's a document. I mean, they fudge the details sometimes in that show. But at the end of the day, it is a documentary, by which I mean, as most documentaries when you come to look into things more. But, I mean, I'm very curious to see how it does opening weekend. I'm very curious to see about the numbers.
It better break the box office or it's going to be freaking bad.
I think it's going to be number 1. If it's not, that's a huge upset.
What else is this weekend? What?
I don't even know.
See, so it's got to be.
Because, like, Superman comes out in a few weeks, I think. Fantastic
Superman?
I'm excited for the new Superman.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It looks like a cartoon to me.
It's a comic book.
Oh, but...
I don't know. I love James Gunn. He did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Not to get too off topic, I'm very excited for Superman.
Oh, by the way, I love Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
I think you'll like Superman then.
Oh, we're gonna have to wait and see then.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Naked Gun remake. I'm curious about Fantastic Four. I'm not sure how to feel about that one.
I'm more about that, but this is what's telling me. Is it getting to a point in life where we've evolved to a point where nobody can come up with a new story?
I don't think it's that. I think studios are risk adverse.
Oh, 100%.
I think that's it. Because I think they get good pitches all the time, but then they're like, well, we got to spend $100 million on this. It's like not a known IP. That's a big risk. Sorry, but no.
Okay.
I think that happens way more often than we realize.
Oh, I bet it does. So anyways, I'm going to talk to my sister Chica, who's in the acting business. We're going to do the screenplay, sis. We got the original one. Oh, by the way, I can't tell you, but she was here last week and this week or whatever, and we sat down and I told her about the first scene in the movie, what I want it to be.
F1?
No, in the first scene
in the movie you want to write.
I want to write. So here was the very first scene, and she looked at me and said, "Are you serious?" She goes, "How do you get there to the first scene?" I said, "We'll backtrack to get to the first scene, but I want everyone's attention right." She says, "That would be insane." I said, "I've already got the escape route. I've got the understanding. It's going to be violent." When I write my screenplay, the first 10 minutes is going to be, some people might have to look away from the screen.
Tarantino-esque?
Oh, definitely. I want my violence to be more intense than that.
Okay.
That's just what I'm saying. But any event.
Maybe less N-bombs, but.
Yeah. All that. I'm going to try to have as little swearing as I possibly can.
That's on brand for you. I'm not surprised.
You know, I'm not a big swear.
I actually came up with the screenplay idea the other night.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down. If you don't do it, or we wouldn't have secondhand.
Secondhand hearsay?
I've been saying that.
It's a good line.
It's a great line. That might be even a show name, you know?
We'll see. I got another shout out. We went to the park yesterday. It was a little bit of a couples outing. So Johan, Mathura, Marco Antonio, Kat, Dom, Amelia, Marco, Kate, and of course we were joined by my lovely girlfriend Radhika. All spent the day at the park. Nice little picnic.
Great.
Showed up
school.
Yeah, showed up at 11. I was like, I'm worried the park was going to be packed. The side of the park we were on, completely empty. We had it to ourselves.
Where was the park?
That's our secret.
Okay, good. Then that's the don't.
We found how empty it was, and we're like, guys, don't say anything. This is our secret. We took a blood pact. You can see the bandages on my hands.
Okay. Anyways, Radhika, I know you're going to be listening out there. Did you hear the Brad Marchand rumors that we will get to lately? I got to talk to you
tomorrow.
Oh, gee.
By the time you're listening, you'll probably know.
Oh, gee. I've been hearing some shit, but we'll get to that when we get to the hockey portion of the show.
A nice little tease for what's to come. Speaking of hockey, also big shout out to the Abbotsford Canucks winning the Calder Cup, the 8th time in AHL history that Canadian team has won. A little surprising that it's only been 8.
I'm surprised, too.
And the first time a Canadian team has won since the Toronto Marlies in 2018.
Wow. God, okay, big shout out to them.
Hopefully this final won't be overshadowed by that face-off controversy that happened early in the series. Did you catch that?
No, I heard something about it, but I caught the end.
So the goalie wasn't ready for the face-off.
Oh, right.
It was a fault of one of the officials. Then the theory was that, I think this came from Elliot Friedman. He was saying he was talking to Noodles, and he was saying that he thought that the referee was talking to the goalie, and that's why he was distracted. So it's on the officiating crew. I mean, it's on that anyways. If you don't, the goalie's not ready. You can't drop the puck.
Oh, boo.
Either way, congratulations to Abbotsford.
100%. And that's a great sports town, by the way. People don't know, Abbotsford's just outside of Vancouver,
yes,
I believe, but it's a big sport town, especially in the lacrosse world.
Oh,
yeah, it's
interesting.
Big, yeah, it's a big lacrosse town, from what I understand. 100%.
Also, got to shout out Don Cherry having his final podcast, his retirement official this week.
Okay, I'm glad you did, because that was going to be one of my shout-outs, okay? And I just want to say this. I mean, he's getting a little long in the tooth. I guess it's time for him to be on my way, but I'm going to say this.
He's over 90.
Pushing 90.
Yeah.
Any event, I just want to shout out to, I know you disagree with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm pissed at the woke CBC for kicking to the curb.
Rogers fired him, not CBC.
Rogers fired him.
Yeah.
Okay, you people, the new guy that came in that fired him. I know you know the guy. Forget his name, but any event, this was at a time when the world was in a certain situation, and Don was not good for that situation. But I will take this to my grave.
It was handled poorly. I'm with you there.
Oh, awful. He is one of the most iconic voices in the history of hockey in this country by far, sure. And we better shout out the Happy Canada Day, because we as a Canadians, one of the things that we have to be proud of is we own hockey, bro.
For sure.
We own hockey, and Don Cherry put us on the front page of making sure every day that we're out here that we
I think our Canadian players put us on the front page.
Okay, that helps too, but it's nothing better than have a great cheerleader.
You know how I feel about Don Cherry, good, bad, and ugly about hockey.
I know that, but wasn't it great when we just showed you that highlight coming in, we heard the other voice in the background of Danny Gallivan in that thing? Greatest announcer maybe in the history of announcers, but that's another story.
I don't know if we announced this, but did we talk about Joe Bowen coming back for one last season? I believe we did.
Yes, we did. That's cool. Good to Joe. You know what? I hope he has one of those years where it's like not he won't be able to have a journey like baseball players, but I hope every game is a celebration, especially the last 10.
I'm sure he'll be recognized by the other broadcasters for sure.
And the team's coming into town.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Bowen's not my favorite, but his enthusiasm for the Leafs cannot be denied.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's what you want. And, and he does it in a more like, okay, I hear the Buffalo bias guy. I don't want to hear him. The Boston bias guy is worse.
Well, that guy is done now.
Good.
Even the Boston fans were getting tired
Okay,
of
that's
him.
enough of him. That's enough. But a big shout out. We won't forget Joe Bowen.
Absolutely. Justin Tucker is suspended 10 weeks by the NFL for you know what.
You know what I hate about the NFL? Because they'd hire an axe murderer if he get an interception. We know that. Why did it take them so long? Everybody knew.
Yeah, I know.
Is this, what do you call that, enabling?
Enabling. It's also just part of the, like, what's the word?
Do you think he'll get another job?
He was starting to fall off, so I doubt it.
I know, with 10 games, and Baltimore released him.
That happened a while ago, yeah.
Exactly. But I think what's going to happen is when we get to, like, game 10, and the team's making a run, and all of a sudden their kicker just can't kick, they'll pull him off the pile.
Yeah.
I don't think he deserves it, though.
I don't know. The way he was slipping, I don't know.
Didn't he?
I doubt he gets back, but like, and the reason I think it took so long was just because, like, this is just like bureaucratics, isn't it?
I don't know, but the trail this is a 4-year trail, bro.
I know.
This ain't Deshaun Watson. He did his in a week. Okay. Deshaun just got into the business.
You shouldn't be laughing.
No, we shouldn't. Deshaun just got into the business, and he got bitch slapped and shouted at town with that most ridiculous contract in the history of the NFL. But Tucker doesn't have his money to start with. But number two is, I cannot believe in sports how many times athletes get to slide because of their ability to be an athlete when they should be just treated like every other citizen.
Oh, 100%.
Especially in a situation like this, which we're not going. If you don't know what it is,
who's the guy? He was with the Panthers, and then they released him, and then he went to sign with the Cowboys. Defensive end.
Oh, shit, you're killing me. Yeah.
He did some MMA fighting for a hot second.
Yeah. He beat his wife and paid her off. That was the worst thing ever. And then the wife, or no, the girlfriend, comes into court and says she forgets everything. So what is that? Money changes everything? That's a sad story. You know what? I'm glad we forgot his name because we won't be able to tell. We should know his name.
We should.
Just so we can say what a scumbag he is. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll get to. You know what? I'm going to look it up so next week we can remind the world what a scumbag he is.
Oh, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. My last shout out is for Wimbledon, which begins Monday.
God, you got to look at this. You reading my mind? Reading my mind, taking away my
shout-outs. I always have my eye on the tennis Grand Slams.
Of course it is. I was going to do the same thing. We got a shout-out. Starts tomorrow, correct?
Yes, it does. Everyone seems to be surprised that Alcaraz isn't the number one, but I mean, Sinner's number one in the world still. So,
and it's on this. It should be a great match. What we maybe next week we'll delve into it a little bit more to see where things are going. I'm just very disappointed that our Canadian, can I say her name right? Bianca
Andreescu.
Where did she go?
I don't know. It's a shame.
Okay, I know this. She's come from she's been a little bit of a, what would you say, spoiled girl?
Diva?
I hate to use that word, but it's there. She suddenly won, and then her poop didn't smell anymore. And then she's getting beat by another Canadian coming up the ladder in the qualifiers. Like, think about that.
The young one?
The one that just,
Ndoko?
but she got knocked out in her last,
Oh, she didn't qualify?
No, she got, they both went to, like, the semifinals of the qualifying, and Andreescu, or if I don't say her name right, she got knocked out by the Canadian, and then the Canadian got knocked out in the next round, and here we are. Yeah, but to Wimbledon, of course, we're going to Wimbledon. We will always be on the forefront of giving everybody information about the majors.
And I believe we just have one shout out left, and it is to a weekly segment that we have. Oh, two.
Yep.
Go right ahead. I'm done.
First of all, I want to shout out to Troy Thorne and his son Max, who live in the neighborhood, constantly texting me. I do believe that they have been doing the likes and yelling out to the show. He sent me some interesting trivia about what the GOAT means, but we'll discuss that later because we said we're going to get to that, to the GOAT and Hall of Fame.
We might have to save that for the GOAT stuff. I don't know if we'll have time to.
I don't know, but we're definitely going to be talking about some Hall of Fame shit, so the GOAT thing might come by, however you want to put it. Okay, but anyways, he's a great a very he heard about we're going to be doing a trivia show, and he was vastly interested. I don't know if we can work him in, but he's been sending little trivia things.
Yeah,
to me
I mean,
text-wise.
send me his contact. We can,
definitely I'll do that. And but
maybe I'll put him in contact with Steven. They can come up. I don't know if he will, in what capacity he wants to be in, but we'll see.
Okay, but anyways, he's a very avid listener, and I think that we should be shouting out to our avid listeners to help to make the show that it is. But that's to Thorn and his cool son Max. I got what? You any more shout outs?
That's it for me.
Okay, can I get one more shout out? And this might sound weird to you, but I want to thank the Metropolitan Toronto Police Association for keeping the Indigenous people of Canada that have been hanging out in Etobicoke for the last month safe and make sure they got back to their place that they're supposed to be sleeping. I don't know if you know this. They dropped 800 evacuees from, what's in Deer Lake? You know, they had the wildfires up north?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, anyways, they dropped 800 of Indigenous people into our neighborhood. But we're used to it in North Etobicoke because every time there's a refugee rush, they drop them here because of the hotel strip, the amount of hotels and all that stuff going on there. But, and I was very glad. I engaged with a number of Indigenous people in a good way. However, if you want to talk about the negative or the positive of how this worked out in our neighborhood, huge disappointment. I thought our policemen, that's why I'm shouting out to them, how they had to handle, I'm not going to say what the situations were, but huge shout out to the Metropolitan Police for having the patience to make sure nothing bad happened in the neighborhood. And we welcome these people as much as we could. We cannot, we're not responsible for the behavior, but we're definitely, people in the neighborhood were open to arm about it, because number one is we're helping from people from all over the world. Yeah. It was nice to be able to say that we had, Indigenous, which means Indigenous to our country, pure Canadians came into our neighborhood, and we did the best we could to help them out in a very difficult time. I hope it gets better in the future. Absolutely.
And now time for your San Fran Sluggers report.
Oh, gee. Okay, guys, I struck out. So what? All right, I struck out. In any event, we want to tell all the teams, because they're starting to, some of the teams I want to go, you have a podcast they're going to listen to. Any team that doesn't show up is a bitch. It was hot. It was super hot that night. But we showed up. The other team didn't. The team that followed us did. And they were even pissed because it works like now. You get 3 teams and you play each other twice, but it's 3 games in a row. Sometimes you got to sit in between games. Sometimes you don't. Mm-hmm. But when one team doesn't show up, that screws the other 2 teams around. So we're all pissed at that. But anyways, we did play very well. I want to talk to our pitcher, Mr. John Bellardi. He had a rough night with the wind, but he'll be starting for us again this week. My son made an executive pitching and brought in the bullpen, which is Cody McDonald, who does everything for this team. But my personal striking was, Cody's natural. By the way, he's got his golf pro ticket.
Wow.
So, works at the National. Okay, Cody's the man. But big guy, the way you're running the team is outstanding, outrageous, catalysmic. Sorry I struck out. We got to figure out a little bit more about what we're doing with our defense, but I got to say this. Everybody on our team is swinging the bat. Everybody. Anthony, the RBI king, the boys from San Francesco's have been swinging the bat. And I really want to say to my son, most importantly, and I've been bugging about this a long time, I know that you acquiesce to a lot of guys on the team because this is a fun situation. But when your ability puts you in a spot to do more, do it. And for example, he moved himself into the leadoff slot on the ball team, and He did it admirably. We don't have a game this week because we're going to be Canada Day and there's no games on, but we're now at 500 and we're going to go forward.
Attaboy.
So go Sluggard, CBOH. I told you I was going to talk about that stupid strikeout. And by the way, before I go, considering there's a couple seniors on the team, our pitcher, John Bellardi, who you'd never believe it, just turned 70 years old.
Wow.
You would never know it. You see the way he plays, throws, and runs around the field. I thought he was younger than me when I met him, but that's just the way it is. All good.
All right, and the great San Fran Sluggers report, and we will move this on to the NBA Finals, where the Oklahoma City Thunder won in Game 7, 103-91. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Canadian MVP for the first time in league history, 7 different champions in 7 seasons. Unfortunately, though, Halliburton got injured early in that one, left in that game, probably done for next season. Indiana was up a point at halftime, but OKC really had a stellar third quarter, turning that game around. OKC was better in the paint and on turnovers. Shea, 29 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists.
I'm really sorry that Shea didn't get one more point for the 30.
He got MVP, come on.
I know, but you know that record where he's already in there with only 3 other people that won league MVP, scoring title, MVP in the playoffs, blah 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 blah. We know that. There's only
it was him, Jordan, and
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic, right? Was it Magic or was it Wilt? Or Hakeem? I think it was Elijah one. Could have been Elijah. One of the two. But in any event, first of all, I want to say one thing about the playoffs. 2 things. For starters, this was by far and away not the greatest 7-game series in the history of basketball. I'll take that first. However, it did do good for the ratings. But we'll talk about a bit. The ratings,
considering the small markets.
Yes, and they surged at the end because what are the best 2 words in sports?
Game 7.
There you go. So that jacked it up. And
everyone wanted to see if the Haliban could finish the job.
Okay, number 2 I want to say about this. And one more person compares this to Durant going down against the Leafs. I'm going to jump in the screen. Beating the Raptors, sorry. I'm going to jump into
I missed that one.
I'm going to jump into the screen and slap people. It's 6 years later, completely different circumstances. Halliburton's not Durant, for starters, although he was playing amazing, and he did get 9 points in those first 5 minutes. It looked like he was going to be on fire. He was going off good, but you never know. OKC could have shut him down the second half. They're the best defensive team in the league. The thing about both teams is you have to respect is, I'm going to talk about this in a second, and this is salary cap apron, which is insane, is the fact that these are teams. Okay, when you look at Indiana and OKC, they both run 8-9 deep, which is very rare in the NBA. Like, you got to see a guy like TJ McConnell come off the bench for Indiana.
Isn't that the way it is for most teams though in the playoffs?
No,
8 or 9?
The New York Knicks?
They're not most teams.
Okay, well, let's look around the league. Who else in the Denver Nuggets?
They had like an 8-man rotation, didn't they?
No, it got cut down to about 6 pretty quick. So that was there. What's the other team that was in the playoffs that didn't have? Oh, Golden State Warriors. All the team, you got to have depth now in this
100%.
Or you're not going anywhere. What I really like about it is I want to thank
all teams that win usually have 8 or 9 guys.
It's like every league, you got to have depth or you're going nowhere. Big shout out to Shea, though. Did you see him at the party draped in the Canadian flag?
Yeah.
That's what made me feel like Canada Day when I seen that. Because you know what? I'll get to it at a later date. But we're all proud to be Canadian. But to see that was super cool. And another thing to be said, those players on there was 4 Canadians in the final. I don't think there's ever been 4 Canadians in the final before, has there?
I doubt it.
Or 4 Canadians that had that much presence
for sure.
in the game, or had that much to put in to make the game what it is.
Yeah,
you know
one's the best player on his team. We had like a defensive... stalwart there on that team as well.
The torture chamber.
Yeah, the torture chamber, yes.
I can't put... You see him and Shea are freaking... Well, they all went from the BioSteel, but it got changed now, right?
Yeah, they call it something else now.
They've known each other since teenagers, which is really, really cool. Should bode well for our Olympic thing next year, don't you think?
Should bode very well for basketball. No, it's 3 years away. Olympics, LA, 2028.
In any event, I want to do a minor shout out to Kendrick Perkins. Did you hear what he said about Canadians?
No.
He said, "What is going on up there in Canada? What is in the water, or are they feeding them raw meat? Because we're getting pure dogs coming into the NBA." He goes, "I'm thinking about sending my son to Canada just to teach him a little bit more dog." I guess it's because it's different than the AAU. You're not as pampered as much. But if you go around and you look at the Canadians, it's true. They're all dog, hard-playing, both ends of the court players, which is something to be proud of, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Another thing we should point out is, even though they were small markets, OKC had a little bit louder crowd, but what both cities brought to the game and excitement and intensity for their teams is just amazing.
Did they have a louder crowd, or did it just come across that way on TV?
Everyone says OKC's the craziest, loudest crowd. And Indiana showed up. Oh, no. Indiana showed up. Even Perk said that. He goes, "Whoa, I guess we were talking too much about the loudness of the OKC crowd," because he said, "I couldn't hear in Indiana," which is great, because you know what? Is parity the thing that's running the league?
Parity? I mean, to an extent.
Okay, so the question...
I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
I don't know. I like dynasties sometimes.
OKC could turn into one.
Oh, whoa.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but OKC is very well set up. Okay. Let's not kid ourselves. They're going to be the immediate favorite for next season.
100%. Okay, so at the end of last season when the Celtics won, who was the immediate believer?
Well, we also had the caveat where like, well, the way they play.
Okay, so anyways, I will take this all season when anyone asks me because I hate them so much and I couldn't give a shit anyway. But I think it was sheer arrogance is the reason that Boston did not beat the Knicks.
Oh, agreed. And they're already punting for next season, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, okay. So, but in any event, that's why I'm saying it's going to be very hard. So if you want to ask me, do I believe that OKC can repeat? I say 50-50 at best. That's my.
Can they do it? Of course, but like,
yes,
will they do it? Completely different question.
And the beauty of it all is they better get in under this apron, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Is the fact that OKC is still the youngest team in the league.
Yes,
everybody's under contract. They could probably run this for 2 more seasons before they get into trouble.
Well, that's why things bode well for them to. Well, why they are the favorites for next season, because like the cap considerations, depth, youth, it's looking like it's lining up, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You forgot to mention one significant thing.
What's that?
Oh, the draft picks to go to reboot them.
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean? That's just insane. I'm really glad for, what's his name again? Presley, the general manager? Sam Presti. I'm very, very happy for them because then we don't have morons like the race baiters saying, what have you done? What have you done? He's won a championship now. Next time we see him, he will be having a ring.
Jay?
Yeah, no,
Presti, sorry.
Yes, you know what I mean? And the question is, and I can't say that right now, is people are saying, is Shea the greatest OKC player of all time?
I think it's a little early to anoint him that, but
Thank you.
Let's be real. He's on the fast track to that.
Well, the big difference, and we know the names I could throw out there, and I'm not going to throw out.
I'll throw them out there. Durant and Westbrook.
Okay, but guess what? They never brought a ring to OKC.
They did not. They only went to one final.
And they only went to one.
And they won one game in that game one.
And that was it. So big shout out to Shea. Huge shout out to Shea. And I love the wonderful things. He's building a family. He's been with the same girlfriend, all that good family, wholesome shit that's going on. And I seen Caruso on a show this week, and he was brought in this year, correct? To be whatever it is.
Great pickup.
Oh.
He's a dog coming off the bench.
And he was saying that when he came into, he didn't know what to expect from a young team, and the way they went out last year, like kind of falling down against Dallas and shit like that. He said he could not believe the continuity in the dressing room and the fact that Shea is such a humble superstar. He said work ethic, support his teammates, helping people out, but he's not yelling at the referees all the time. He's not pulling diva moves. That's because maybe he's Canadian.
Or maybe he just has a good head on his shoulders.
All of the above. Congratulations, though, to OKC.
Anything else about the final?
Not
Finals?
really. I just want to say this. The reason I want to say about the best 7 games of all time, and Game 7's great. It's unfortunate we didn't get to where we want, but let's go through this series really quick. Game 1 should have been a blowout, but it was a tortoise and a hare. All of a sudden, OKC sat back and said, we got this.
Yeah.
The boys went nuts and beat them. Game 2, blew them out of the water. It was a blow. Game 3, I think, personally, was the best game, or maybe the 2 games in Indiana, due to the fact that it was a dogfight to the end, but Indiana pulled it out. And Game 4 is, what was it? OKC was down by 7 or 8 with 12 minutes left, and they fought back to win that game.
Yeah, that was a good game.
You know what I mean? And then they went back to OKC, which was no doubt, everyone knew Game 5. That
was the game where it's like OKC, that was the greatest fourth quarter performance I've seen in a long time.
There you go. And
just to keep that lead alive, incredible. They're making everything.
Thank you. And didn't you think it would be over in Game 6?
No. After, I was like, I don't know, Indiana might have just played us a little bit.
Maybe, but then to have a blowout like that in Game 6, which the game wasn't even watchable in the second half, and then you go back home, and unfortunately we had the Halliburton injury, and then I thought that I give credit to Matherin and
They hung in there for as long as they could.
Miles Turner or CJ Turner.
Miles Turner, yeah.
Yeah, TJ O'Connell, all those guys left their all those guys left their jerseys on the floor. But the better team was OKC, and you know by what? 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, this game's over. They're getting the rings.
Yeah.
I know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another big congratulations to OKC. Indiana, I have a feeling we're going to see this team again.
Halliburton won't be back for a year.
Not next season.
The season after?
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Contracts. We'll see.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move this to the NBA offseason. A few big things happen. So Kevin Durant traded to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, our Canadian boy Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in the draft, as well as 5 second-round picks. Houston instant contenders now?
100%. And when they start the season next year, I'm thinking, who are the big 4? OKC's going to be 1. Houston's going to be 2. And surprisingly enough, after the draft, with the Dallas Mavericks getting Cooper Flagg, and I know Kyrie won't be there until probably January, February, but Dallas is an instant contender now.
They got some guys with injury problems, though.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see, but if you look at their lineup, so who else? Okay, when you're going to say Denver, but they got to go get some depth pieces. Now,
the Lakers and Clippers are always going to be in the mix, too.
Okay, but here is the problem. Did you hear the Denver owner this week?
No.
This guy, I don't know how he got rich because he be dumb.
Oh, no.
Did you see the press conference where he was going through the permeations of the 2 aprons, contracts?
Oh, so he's basically saying, I don't want to spend.
And I wouldn't want to have to trade number 15.
Oh,
which sent a seismic shiver through the whole league. They were saying that the general manager...
Seismic, I believe.
Seismic, sorry. Yeah, I got it wrong. But anyways, they said that the general manager and the coach at Denver did a... They looked at the owner going, shut up! And it just went through everywhere. I could not believe an owner. You know what it was basically...
Okay, so maybe I take it back about Denver. Maybe they might not win again.
But they should with that lineup and a couple more guys.
Jokic, big man, come to Toronto.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? And it's insane. It's absolutely insane. When I heard the owner, and I've seen the press conference twice, I go, wait a second. You just want to make money? You know, and maybe it is because some people say this. When you get the ring, you get your ring, you start, do your priorities change?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Your priorities change, and then you're not, you're not that owner like Bus in LA.
You lose the hunger.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some owners that are like that. Look at Jerry Jones, has never lost his hungry. The Bus family in LA didn't, even though they're selling now because the money was through the roof. But a lot of owners want to win. George Steinbrenner names the owners around the league. MLSE.
Well, I wouldn't use Jerry Jones as a good example, though.
He still wants to win dramatically, but he's just not doing it. Well, maybe he's been hanging out with the Denver owner. I had his name down here somewhere. It's on my other book. But
he's been hanging out with Zach Brown.
There you go.
And their friend Jack Daniels.
You got it. And you know what? The crazy thing about it is that this press conference is going to come up, like, when they have worst owner press conference and shit like that, this is going to be all over the place.
Well, even when, like, Denver stubs their toe next season, which is like it's going to happen at some point. They're going to go right back to this press conference.
100%. And everybody, like a few guys were saying, wasn't someone in the room yelling, "Shut up"?
Yeah, like
Stop
whoever's in charge of like publicity or whatever.
Listen, you're getting close to the cliff. You're getting close to the no.
It's like the Price is Right game, the guy going up the mountain.
But it was something brutal, that's for sure.
Keeping it with the NBA offseason, Boston Celtics unloading a lot of cap. They trade Drew Holiday to the Blazers for Anthony Simmons and 2 second-round picks. Also trading Kristaps Porzingis and a second to Atlanta and a 3-team trade with the Nets. Celtics get Georges Niang in a second. Atlanta sends Terrence Mann and the 22nd pick to Brooklyn. So Boston officially punting on next season, sending all that cap away. We know Tatum's probably going to miss all next year.
Well, that's the bottom line. Okay, so do you understand the aprons?
So the new owners are probably looking at this like, well, our best player is out next season. Yeah. Why are we going to spend into the luxury tax?
Yeah, but it's the second apron that kills you.
Yes, that's the one where it's like you tax like, what, 1 for 1?
Something like that. And not only that, then you're not...
Dollar for dollar, I should say.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to... use mid-level exemptions. You're not allowed to trade draft choices after 5 years. You're not allowed to there's just a bevy of
so they're just like, why the hell are we doing this?
Yes, but if you're winning and you're a really rich team and going there
next year.
No, but I mean, if you were a team that was winning, you'd throw in the extra money to get the ring because down the road your team's gonna get a championship out of it. So it's always throwing money to make money or to get a ring is always worth it. What has happened is, does that mean the NBA is, like I said, are they praying for parity? Or is that just keeping the smaller market teams in, kind of like football? But this is pretty draconian. When you look at that second apron, you know what I mean? You're not allowed to start your car on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just insane.
That's the way a lot of these sports leagues are going, which is why I still think MLB is going to have a salary cap.
Oh, they're going to do something silly along the way, but I'm saying this much.
All the leagues are trending this way.
Okay, so...
And the NHL was actually a trailblazer in this, believe it or not.
Oh, it was. This CBA has got 5 years left on it, or 6 left on it in the NBA, right? And they just ratified this 18 months ago or so, right?
Okay.
Word around the campfire is a lot of owners are going to come up and say, can we back this up a bit? Like the next CBA, they might, unless everybody's happy with it.
We'll see. That's a long time away.
Exactly. But I mean, that's what you can no longer, shouldn't there be some kind of, okay, you draft 3 guys. Let's have a new Larry Bird rule or something. So you can't build a team. You're making a team pay for being successful in the draft. I don't understand that. You know what I mean? So
that's becoming less common now because teams, like, I was watching a video about this too. Now more than ever, teams are messing up their first round picks in the NBA, which is insane.
Oh, worst of any sport.
It's
worse than baseball.
Hockey's actually gotten significantly better with the drafting, especially in the first round.
And we'll talk about that.
And basketball has gotten like
that field.
I don't get it.
No, and even football's solid. I mean, you get the odd there, but football's way more solid. Basketball is because I'm going to say this. I think it's less players. And I think that there's too much.
Yeah, but still, basketball, you should have guys that like are ready to go, like the NFL.
They think they are until they get there.
That's a big problem then. I don't know how that happens.
And think about their agents. I'm telling you, the agents are involved too. Like what the backdoor.
Well, like I don't want to go here. I want to go here.
Manipulating this and that, and when they get there, they're not good anyway.
I don't know. If I'm a GM of the team, you gotta go for the best player available, considering position as well, of course. But
Anthony Bennett.
No, I don't know.
Markelle
Fultz.
Markelle Fultz.
Oh, the greatest play of all time by the Celtics.
Oh, Danny Ainge. Brilliant movie. Dupe them like no tomorrow. Come on. But that's what I find very interesting. It's all about, I'm going to, okay, so what? They got a second apron. Some people are going to pay, some people are going to not pay. But the bottom line is, unless you're right at the championship door, there is no reason whatsoever for you to be involved in the apron.
Oh, exactly.
And so,
I mean, it was kind of like that before with the luxury tax, I would argue.
Yeah, but some teams didn't care about it. Mark Cuban didn't care about it. The Lakers didn't care about it. Celtics didn't care about it.
I mean, they're kind of stupid then.
Nolan didn't care about it because it wasn't.
Nolan, who is he?
The owner of the Knicks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dolan.
Dolan. Okay. What? And anyway,
another Mort.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But he was throwing money at everything to get there.
I remember.
Yeah, and what did it get him?
Not much.
Okay, so what it's going to tell you is that means that there should be a Hall of Fame for executives like the Jerry Wests, the Danny Ainges of the world, the Brad Stevens, who's in Boston.
Well, there is a wing for them. Isn't there builders?
The builders or something like that. Like, they'll definitely be in there. But I think it's interesting that the way that Boston's going to go because...
I'm happy.
Oh, I hate him. But here's the deal. Does that mean Jaylen Brown and Derek White are enough to carry you on? And this kid they got from Portland, who I think could be pretty good... Heard they might be already shipping them out of town.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Boston, like, as it stands right now, they look like they're going to be fighting for more like the number 4 seed in the East.
If they're that good.
They might make the second round. We'll see. I don't know. It's a little bit early to speculate about that. Let's move on with other things that happen around the league. Pelicans trade CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second to Washington for Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40th pick in the draft. So Jordan Poole finally getting out of the hell known as Washington.
That's just a weird trade on both sides, don't you think?
I think Washington's trying a little bit of a Hail Mary here to get better. I don't know if it's going to work.
I think what they're trying to do is they're taking it back to the nap.
How so?
Like they're stripping it down so all the big contracts are gone and they'll rebuild from the bottom up.
But they're taking on McCollum. He's got a not so small contract, doesn't he?
1 more year left or something.
True.
It's almost expired. And Jordan Poole's got 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah.
So I think that because an expiring contract is very valuable in the NBA.
Yeah.
So he's got an expiring contract. So I think that was the impetus.
I think it's a good move for the Pelicans, though. You had a good shooter to play along with those guys.
No doubt. I thought he was better. Like, how would I put it? I always thought that McCollum is the type of guy, if you need that bucket at the right time, he's not afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Van Vliet signed a 2-year extension with the Rockets, $25 million per season. LeBron just exercised his 52.6 option to stay with the Lakers in his NBA record 23rd season.
That's unbelievable, eh?
Yeah, moving to the draft. Dallas, of course, took Cooper Flagg #1. The Raptors took Colin Murray Boyles from South Carolina with the 9th pick. A little bit of controversy with his expletive escaping his mouth as he was drafted. I think it was more... At first, I was a little bit upset, but then you look into it a little bit more. I think it was just a little bit more relief that he...
Finally got drafted. Yes,
I don't think the Raptors would have taken a guy who wanted to be here. We knew the Suggs situation from a couple years ago. We took Scotty Barnes instead. I don't think the Raptors are going to take a guy that doesn't want to be here.
Guy had his passport in his backpack, didn't he?
There you go.
He asked him his backpack. I just think it's this. It was very weird because there's a weird disconnect in the Raptors this way. Guys in the NBA that know about Toronto say, wait till you get here. You're going to love the city. And you never hear anyone really say anything bad about the city. Even though I've heard some Raptors fans say, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so. But that's not my point.
Chris Bosh.
Okay, but that was at the end there. He didn't know where they were going. So don't.
Well, he still bitches about Toronto. I hate it.
He's just being ridiculous. But anyways, my point being is that once they get here, like Scotty Barnes is the best ambassador for Toronto Raptors right now. And I heard Mr. Graydon Dick has also become a great ambassador for the Toronto Raptors.
Well, even going back to like DeRozan and Lowry, those guys still have great things to say about Toronto.
I wonder if DeRozan ever sold the condo. Must have by now.
Condo probably, yeah.
Because he had that condo. Like they said, 2 years later, he still hadn't sold his Toronto condo.
Yeah, actually, you never know.
You know, I understand why freaking Lowry sold his place because that was a freaking fortune. He lost $100,000 on it, but with his money going to Miami. Oh, you get rid of that as soon as you can. I think he was up in the Rosedale area. He had a place. You know what I mean? And that's how it's going to go. But that's not the point. The point is this. What people don't understand, and I'm a college basketball guy, I was a little bit surprised that they took this guy too because I wanted to take the guy named, I can't even say his name right, Sugnu, the guy from France. Mm-hmm. The guy taking number 12. I'd seen his highlight film and I forgot about those French players. And this guy's a beast. And we need more of a guy in the middle than we needed another wing guy, right?
Again, best player available.
So here's the caveat. This guy is a junkyard dog. Fans are going to love him. His motor is like his motor. He's got horsepower. He's a dog. His only problem is he's not a big shooter, and a lot of people say, well, we need more three-point shooting. He's young. Let him work on his game. But as Darko, the coach, I bet you he was in on this selection because he said, that's the kind of guys that I want. He's an animal. You know what I mean? His biggest mistake, they say, is he went to the wrong school. The South Carolina never got off the map. Like, we went to a different school, but then he lived close to there, and it was a family thing and all that, I guess.
Maybe that's to our benefit then, since he slipped. Oh, if that's the case.
Yes, that's what they're saying. But in any event, I'm looking forward to see him play.
Should be ready to play minutes right away in the NBA?
Probably 6 man off the bench or 7. No,
definitely off the bench, definitely.
Yeah, the rotation. But if he started to move towards a starting role by the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well,
there's a lot of competition.
Okay,
with the Raptors.
it's going to be depending on this, depending on how the season goes and what the Raptors are doing when it gets around the All-Star break. Are they going to be buyers or sellers? That's always the caveat. Is how it's going to be. The other thing in the draft that I really thought was insane. Would you hear about this Ace Bailey guy?
Yes, he was the man of mystery this whole season.
Greatest line is, you didn't want to play in Utah, but you played at Rutgers?
He's going to play in Utah, though.
I bet you.
He says in a report.
He already did.
Yeah, okay, there we go then.
Already a diva, though. He didn't even go with all the other guys. He went by himself. Come on. And you know what? We don't really know how good he is because he just hung out with his buddies at Rutgers so they could get high and play basketball together.
Well, allegedly.
Okay, but then his buddy was a number 2 overall pick, Harper, who's going to be a superstar. That guy, and look at genetic, his dad, Ron Harper. You know what I mean? And he's a better player than his dad. His dad's even saying that. But I think it's very interesting.
And his dad was no slouch.
Oh, no, 5 rings. Come on. The thing about it is that this is, again, agent-driven bullshit. You know, think about it. And you know, he didn't even go. Did you know how many places he didn't even go for workouts?
Move the mounts to Muhammad, right?
Me, I.
Good luck, Utah.
Oh, yeah. But I think, you know what? I think the owner will overwhelm him because he's such a sports guy. He'll bring him around, put his arm around him, say, kid.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have 4 years to work with him, basically?
Mm-hmm. So I think that something's going to be there. But let's tell the truth. Brothers in Utah... They get nervous about that, which I don't think they should.
Karl Malone, though.
Can I say honestly about Karl Malone? Whitest black man I've ever seen.
Wow, I will not go there.
He hunts with Ted Nugent.
Less said about Ted Nugent, the better.
Okay. I wouldn't go there.
Well, let's not go there.
I'll give you one caveat. Second concert I ever seen in my life. Cobo Hall, Detroit, Michigan, 1976. Ted's first solo album. I will never forget that show. This is before he was Ted, before he talked, before Wango Tango. One of the craziest concerts I've ever seen in my life.
All right. One last thing about the draft I want to talk about is the whole hat thing at the draft. How's the NBA still not figured this out about the guys getting the wrong hat?
Fire the girl that's bringing up there.
No, not about that.
I don't get it either.
I'm talking about like how they're drafted by a team and then like traded
after. They know
after.
they're going to be traded, so why should the guy put the hat on? I thought that two or three times.
Can't you just like do it? Like the NHL does it right here. Like you make the trade before.
Yes.
So that the right team drafts the right guy and he's got the right hat and the right jersey. Well, I don't get how the NBA is still stuck in the, like, I don't know, 80s in this regard. It's so silly.
70s. And you know what? It's true.
It's silly.
And you know, did you see who was it? Was the guy that went from Memphis and he got traded? The guy picked up his hat and looked at it, kind of shrugged it on his head because his agent probably already told him, you're going to the other team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So when you see the guy with the hat and he's looking at it, I'm going, and then you hear the announcement and you go, no wonder the guy looked at his hat like that. Big shout out to Monica McNutt for talking to the ones on the sideline. That's a tough job to be staying up there all that time doing all those things. And she was so cordial about it. Big shout out to her. Big shout out doing a good job. I think the whole draft thing is a circus, though.
Of course it is.
And it's just amazing because you see all those moms going, I'm getting a new car. But I found that to be interesting. And I'm going to tell you this much, except for the first two players in the draft, I mean, everybody else is going to make a contribution and stuff, but you don't know who's got the next Marcus Fultz and who's got the next Giannis.
Oh, no.
We don't know that.
Magic beans at this point.
You got it. So I'm going to be very interested to see who contributes where and when.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Naz Reid signing a 5-year, $125 million contract with the T-Wolves, the former Sixth Man of the Year.
I think that's a great contract,
so
man, for the money to stay under, and I guess he wants to stay there. He's Anthony Edwards' boy.
There you go.
That makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
Building it up there in Mini. And Lonzo Ball trade to Cleveland for Isaac Okoro. He's going from Chicago to Cleveland.
I think that's a sneaky good trade.
I think so, too.
Because, like, by the end of last year, the last 20 games in Lonzo, he only played 20 games last year.
Having a guy like him off the bench, his decent defense, his ball handling.
Defense and ball handling is all Cleveland needs. Everybody else shoots. Everybody else does everything else. He does a lot of dirty work. I just hope he's 100% healthy.
I think so. I hope so, too. I like Lonzo Ball.
I do, too.
And last but not least, Masai Ujiri moving on from the Toronto Raptors. Unfortunately, a little bit of a sad ending here. The end of an era here in Toronto, of course, brought the team from basically nowhere to their first championship in 5 seasons, which is unheard of, or 6 seasons, which is unheard of.
9 playoff appearances in a row. Okay, can I say something about all of this? Okay, first of all, when people were shocked, I looked at them and said, no, my neighbors were saying, oh my God, Cruz, what are you saying? I was not one bit shocked. I heard everybody was shocked. The whole league was shocked. They don't live in Toronto.
No.
Okay, so guess what? When the hammer went down on Shanahan, how safe was Masai? We discussed that off the air. We didn't want to make it a big thing. But when I seen if Shanahan wasn't safe, here's Masai. Now, what I'm going to do is Mr. Pelly, who's got a great reputation as being a deal maker and making things happen and been very successful in his running of TSN, running the DP tour in Europe. The guy has got credentials. But I'm going to tell you this, what I say about the guy. Mr. Pelly, don't have another press conference. Just put that one out there every time because this is a dog and pony show. Number 2, the only thing I respected about Pelly is this, and I don't trust him either way. He acted like he knows something about hockey, but I don't really know about basketball, so I'm going to get a president. He's full of shit. He's just saying that because he went to MLSE. Isn't it a coincidence? All the talk about, well, I've got Trey Living. I got Berube. I got guys that are responsible for this job. Then he went through the Bobby Webster routine in his press conference. So what is he saying? I don't need a middleman. Get him out. I'm cutting out the bulk, and it's my show. That's what I got. Look, go back. If you can get both press conferences and put them side by side. All you do is take out the Shanahan name and put in the Masai name, and it was the same press conference. He said the same thing. Is that from people up above, or is that his personality? And I heard he's
Probably
great
a mix
guy.
of both.
Yeah, I heard he's not a bad guy. He just says it's my way or the highway. So there's only there's only one dog in this.
I think MLSE is in desperate need of that, so I'm all for it.
Well, I thought so too, but I mean, like Masai I thought Masai was doing great. You know what I mean? I did hear that.
Well, $15 million, and when was the last time you made the playoffs?
4 years ago. Okay, or no, 2 years ago, whatever.
Let's be real. Masai's made some bad deals.
You know, the deals that he made wrong is because he trusted guys too much. And when it got to the end, they jumped. 2 examples, Siakam and Van Fleet.
I was going to go with the Norm Powell one.
The Norm Powell one is one I'll never understand. Why didn't we want to play him? That was the one that I was sad. The Norm Powell, look what he's doing for the Clippers.
I know.
I'm just saying this. I'm not saying anything bad about Mr. Pelly, but what I've been reading, and I've seen 2 news conferences, tells me he keeps his ego in his back pocket, but when he wants to put it on the table when the doors are closed, I bet you it's a freaking monolith. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And I hope he's successful because we want the teams to be good because we live in the city, right?
Of course.
Anyways, I want to have a big shout out to Masai because you know what? There was 2 or 3 kids that came from Africa that got drafted this year. And it wasn't for Masai going to Africa, Mission Africa or whatever?
Giants of Africa.
Giants of Africa, whatever. This has only happened in Masai's time, which thank MLSE, because they gave him the support to go do that. But how many guys from Africa have been coming into the NBA in the last 10 years that was unheard of? You get the odd guy.
Yeah.
Now you actually got scouting going on in Africa.
Well, and legitimate facilities and the infrastructure.
Yes, that's all Masai Ujiri, and I think that if anything else, for all that he's done, that's amazing for the sport of basketball.
Yeah, I know next they want to help build up the women's infrastructure there in Africa. But
that's next, yeah. Oh, I love Masai. I thought he was a little full of himself at times, but then anybody in that position is a little full of himself, and he was very confident. I just knew, I should have mentioned this before, I always said, and Mike McElvaney, who's working on a great album called Abandoned Drive-In Theater, I told you, we talked about it. When Masai was going, it was going to be a wall hit. It was going to be like, bang. Okay, in any event, we miss Masai. How long until he gets another job?
Oh, in 2 weeks. Something fast. Yeah, happy trails to Masai. Obviously, we appreciate the great moments, but I guess all good things must come to an end. Anything else for the NBA?
Thanks for bringing us a championship.
Thank you, Masai. We'll be forever
indebted
and grateful for that as well. We'll move this over to Major League Baseball, where the Toronto Blue Jays lost 2 of 3 versus the White Sox last weekend.
Caveat, trust me when I tell you things. Trust me.
Well, you also thought they were going to win 2 of 3.
I thought they win 2 or 3, but the first game I said no. I should have went Brett Proline. I was that confident that they were going to lose that game, and I could smell it coming. Just getting home. It's only Chicago, and shh. Yeah, okay, let's continue.
Toronto comes away with 2 of 3 at Cleveland.
Should have won 3 of 3.
But they won 6-0 in the finale. Scherzer back, unfortunately, in a 5-4 loss on Wednesday. 5 innings pitched, allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 balls, 3 base on balls, 4 strikeouts on 83 pitches. So
I've been all kind of negative about him. You know about Max. You know that. I watched him. He looked good. You know, his velocity was there. You know what I mean? Just a couple more starts, he could be better. Our rotation's going to be all right.
Yeah, well, he's going to be scheduled to start.
First game against the Yankees.
Yeah, but right now the Jays, they got the rubber match against the Red Sox today. They won game 1. Got smoked yesterday in game 2. It was over by the 3rd inning.
Okay, so what have I been saying on this show since we've got this guy? The greatest head case on the Toronto Blue Jays is Chris Bassett. When he goes out on the mound, you just and did you see his last 2 starts? He was impeccable.
That's a problem with all 3 of our top 3 guys, though. I feel like
not Barrios. He's been the most consistent.
Barrios will throw a
stinker. He's due for one. Don't say that. He's due for one. I'm scared. Okay.
That's why I don't know. Until the Jays get that front end guy, that front end starter, I'm worried it's going to be the same story again if we make the playoffs. We're going to lose in 2 games.
Okay, so we got 3 number 2s. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I know a lot of teams around the league, we wish they had 3 number 2s, and if Shizer comes around, we're going to be great. Scherzer, and not only that, this Lauer guy, this kid's looking good. He's knocked that door. It took him a long time to get here, but here he is. Now, here's a couple things I want to say about the Blue Jays. You keep saying it's fool's gold, and I'm nervous too. Like, I don't know what's going to happen today. They should smoke Boston. They got nobody going on the mound because Boston's got less pitching than me. But the bottom line about this team is, when you really think about it, we're very lucky the fact that when you watch the Toronto Blue Jays, I always said pitching and defense is going to be the thing that saves us. Boy, am I ever wrong. They hit more than my 3% I'm screaming for. They're hitting about 8%. Did you see their metrics since the beginning of May? They're top 4 in baseball and hitting in every category. Here's the deal, though. Who's our great, huge hitter? They better play Bichette here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Who's the MVP of this team so far?
So far?
Yeah.
I'd have to say Bichette.
What?
Who else? Who would it be?
Kirk.
Only because he's a catcher?
And he's hitting 300.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase.
He's the second best hitter out of all catchers in the American League.
Number 4 in baseball hitting. Number 4 with runners in scoring position in the majors.
I think you're insane for saying Bichette. I think Vladdy's been more impactful than him.
Okay, you know what? He has that one number. They were showing it up like what you do. They take all
more than one number.
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to say this about Bichette because, okay, we won't talk about his defense right now, but look at his numbers. This is half the way season, double what he does right now. And what kind of season does he have? 25 home runs and 99 RBIs, hitting 280, 290. Is that what
274.
He's hitting 274, so he'll get 280. So if you get 280, 25 and 90.
25 and 90?
25 and look at his numbers. He's on pace.
313 OBP, below average. 427 slug, not that high. 740 OPS, that's below all-star level.
Okay,
and you're saying he's our MVP.
Okay, but look at his numbers. Well, how many runs has he scored? How many home runs? How many RBIs? He's leading the team.
He's batting leadoff. They're giving him all the opportunities in the world.
With all the RBIs he's getting, and he's a leadoff hitter. He leads the team in RBIs. Your leadoff hitter's not supposed to lead the team in RBIs.
He also has 60 strikeouts. Only
That's
18
his problem.
walks.
That's the strikeouts are concerning, but the power numbers are there, and his defense has gotten a little better.
They're not there, though. 427 slug, that's not that high.
Listen, I'll go with this Schwarber shit or whatever they say. Right now, the guy's he's driving in runs. How many runs has he got? He's got 50 RBIs.
Yeah, he's got 50.
Yeah.
49.
49 RBIs. If you go and look at the RBI numbers around the league, there's not a million guys that have freaking got a 50 runs batted in. Not even, look at, if we double Vladdy's numbers, what's it going to be at the end of the year? His walks and on-base percentage is going to make him look a little bit better. And Vladdy's swinging much better lately,
and Vladdy's got as many homers as Bichette.
Just tied him, though. Just tied him the other day.
That's as many.
So I'm saying I do believe that Vladdy will probably have the better second half than Bo because his hitting's been just on fire. So we'll get the end of the season and we could change our mind.
Vladdy actually walks.
That's what I'm saying. He stopped swinging at all those stupid pitches he used to swing at. But and I give all credit to the world to Kurt, because one of the most important positions when you're talking about sports is catch. I mean, baseball is catcher, and not only your catcher.
He's hitting 315.
What production do you get out of your catcher? And our guy Hyman, who comes in, Heineman comes in, he's pretty solid in the times that he gets his at-bats.
Oh, exactly. You don't mind those days where Kirk's got DH.
And he doesn't slack off on the defensive part of the game either, so we're very lucky there.
Always been a strong part of his game.
So I'm going to just say I can't believe they flipped the coin where we got the starting pitching and it's supposed to be taking us all there. But let's think about this right now, okay? Jimenez can't hit.
No.
Santander, what are we going to get out of him? Over show. Okay, you took those 3 guys out of the lineup and you said that we'd be 6 games over 500 at the 81 point of the season. People would have sent me to the nut house. Okay, so what are we...
Well, I would have told you they wouldn't be that impactful anyways.
Well, they are. So let's just weird thing about the Blue Jays. Do you see their outfield?
Yeah.
I don't care what they do offensively all the time. We got a bag of gazelles out there. Like, I mean, outfield, I've been watching a lot of teams. The Red Sox got a good outfield, too. San Diego's got a pretty good one. Is it Texas or Minnesota's got a good one? But anytime...
I would say left field is still a little bit up in the air for this team, though.
Because they don't know who's playing there at a regular basis, so they just keep putting them in. Like, they got Rodon.
Even if all things were healthy, I mean, like, Rodon or, like...
None of those guys are every day, it seems, right now.
Exactly.
But they all rotate in and they're doing well. What is it? Rodon, that Clazy guy, and Straw.
Class A
and Straw. And then we got Springer to go out there with them. Okay, and when you look at it, and these guys track down balls. Okay, which is a very interesting thing because I don't think one thing I go about Jimenez is I don't see a better second baseman. I wish that he would know that him and Bo should change spots. You know, that would be great.
That's been our conversation since we started this podcast.
Okay, but look at how good he is defensively.
I know.
You see anybody in the middle infield, and I watch a lot of baseball. I don't see a lot of guys better than him. Can't hit a lick, and if I see him batting 7th again or 6th, fuck that. Number 9,
maybe he's our Ryan Goins then.
Perhaps, maybe.
Because Goins was the same way. Like, had a tremendous glove, could trap down any ball at second base, but his bat was like non-existent. He was batting like 8th or 9th.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. You got to leave this guy at 9th. Every time they move him up, because
maybe 8th if you want to play around with the lineup.
With a lefty-righty thing.
Yeah, or for the sake of balance, something like that.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So that means that Schneider he must know he's on borrowed time, eh?
The manager?
No.
Davis Schneider?
Yeah, he's on borrowed time, eh?
He's a non-factor with this team.
I know, but he's out there. Do you see how hard he tries?
Well, he's trying to prove a point. I don't blame him.
Because his time in the major is, unfortunately.
I wonder how many options he's got left in his contract.
Not many, I hear. He could be farmed out really soon. But you know what? I love guys like that. He made the show.
Hey, yeah.
You know what I mean? And right now he can move in and out, but I don't trust his bat anymore. No. It depends where he is. Defensively, that makes me nervous too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Jays will play Monday, Tuesday. It's a 4-game set.
Huge.
Against the Yankees. Then we play, it's right here in Toronto. And then next weekend we got the Angels.
Okay, so that should be quite interesting. I'm just saying this right now. I'd be very happy with a split with the Yankees. Okay, because I'm going to tell you this. When you look at the standings, it's getting very...
Oh, we're chasing them down. I want to win.
Oh, I do. I'm doing too. So I was always saying that our pitching will get us there. Our bullpen has been surprisingly the thing that's saving our day, even though Hoffman is not what I'd call the greatest closer in the world because he's another fool's goal guy.
I'm begging for Jimmy Garcia to get back.
And they won't say what's made so long. That's what, when they don't say nothing, it makes you start thinking, wait a second here. Rodriguez, your boy Rodriguez is going to step in and save us. He's getting comfortable because he's not a starter.
I like him a lot better as a reliever than a starter.
There you go. And he's embracing the role. So
all closers start as basically failed starters, right? Going Mariano Rivera. Not saying he's going to become Rivera. No, I think he's got a cutter that mean, but
I agreed. I know what you're saying there, but the Yankees don't have any great Rodin lately has been getting smacked around. So they got one starter that makes them jump up and
Max
down.
Fried.
Yes, and outside of that, who do they have?
But the Yankees have a deep farm system, so they can always just easily bring in a couple guys that's going to help them win the division again.
With that being said, and I looked it up, this blew my mind. This tells you how strong the Yankees bullpen are. Their metrics say they're like a top 6 team in pitching in the majors.
Wow. I know the Yankees have been big on that the last 10 or so years, right? Having a strong, especially back into the bullpen.
And they're almost top of the line in saves. They're top of the line in holds. When you look at their numbers that way, you go, oh, okay. Because their starters aren't getting them there, and it seems to be as long as they get to that 4th or 5th inning, here come the boys. Because they're not getting anything Stroman's coming back and they're throwing a party. Go look at the Yankee rotation. Who are these guys?
Yeah, a lot of guys who either you haven't heard about or just not...
Prospects trying to get there. So I'm just saying, over the next 80 games, this is where we can chase them because if Lauer can stay where he is, the whole name of the game is, and I believe in this, is...
It's all going to come down to pitching.
Exactly. If our bullpen holds up, but it's the fact that you
the starters, too, I'm going to say.
Yes, but I mean, as long as you have the same 5 guys going around... and
Scherzer.
Lauer. Okay, so we got there. I'm not worried about the top 3. I know I make fun of Bassett all the time. You know what that guy should learn to do? Throw 4 pitches. Why do you got to have 72?
I mean, speaking of Marcus Stroman, he was the same way. I have 9 pitches in my repertoire. Okay, you got 5.
Yeah, and 4 you play around with.
Yeah.
And 2 produce souvenirs. So stop it. You know what I mean? Bassett was horrible. Everything you said about Bassett yesterday was on display. Getting that little sulky look on his face, staring in the dugout, looking at the guys on the field.
Like I said before, though, Gosman and Barrios are both guilty.
They both could do it, too. I agree. And you know what? The funny thing is, Bassett's leading the team in wins for pitchers. It just makes me go,
look at his season numbers. They're still very solid. Anything else about the Jays?
No, just we need a split with the Yankees.
Yes, we do, at least.
We need to split with the Yankees.
So as we promised in the previous weeks, we will do a little bit of a roundup of the rest of Major League Baseball. This week we will be focusing on the West Division, so the AL West and the NL West. Cruz, where do we want to start, AL or NL?
Okay, let's start with the NL because we're an American League team. But here's an interesting thing I want to say right off the top. Do you think I'm right in assessing this? We got the NL West and the AL West. Arguably, the NL West may be the best division in baseball if it wasn't for Colorado.
I'd still say they are the best division in baseball.
And the AL West could be the worst division.
I mean, it's tough to say because the American League is so mediocre, though. But I think, strangely enough, both these teams are sort of mirror opposites of each other, where the top four teams are still very much in the playoff race, but then that last place team has no shot.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think anybody except the winner of AL West is making the playoffs.
Don't be so sure yet. It's still very tight, the American League wild card.
Oh,
Seattle's in that last playoff spot. Angels are only a game back. Texas only a game and a half back.
Okay, and I understand that, okay? So let's look at this AL West.
The American League sucks. The American League, so at least one bad team's going to make it.
So why don't they go back to like having the unbalanced schedule where we got to have more games where you play against each other in your division and shit? Because then if they're going to be weak, then they all play each other. Won't worry about it in the playoffs.
And it inflates their win numbers.
Whatever the case may be. But this playing everybody all the time is bullshit. You know what I mean? Why do we got to play? Why do we got to play Colorado as many times as we do?
Well, we don't. We play them once every couple of years.
Do we?
Yeah, because they're in the different league.
Yeah, but we still play them once a year.
No.
Let's go take a look. I think everybody.
No, not every year.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. Now with teams in the opposite league.
I just think I would like to go back to making the league tighter. You know, like more American League.
I can understand why teams would want more of a balanced schedule, especially since you are seeing like some of those other superstars more.
Well,
I think that's what it all comes down to.
100% in TV and all that bullshit. But I used to like it back in the day, okay?
Yeah, where you play your division, it was like 6 series against them. Then you'd have like, 4? No, 2 series against the other teams in your league, right?
Yeah. How many do we now? Only 6, right?
Against your division?
Yeah.
No, they cut it. Maybe it went from 8 to 6?
I think it went 8 to 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to go back to the 8. I mean, you know, back in the day, just as you were probably too young to remember it at the time, though, that was great back in the day. Especially, I remember in the 80s going into the 90s.
Well, it was less divisions then, too, right?
Agreed. But, I mean, I remember those times when, like, Toronto and Detroit played each other 1,000 times and beat the shit out of each other.
They're big rivals back in the day.
Oh, it was, and then Detroit had to go to the Central. I was kind of sad about that. But, those games.
Yeah, once Tampa Bay came in, they moved to the Central.
Yeah, but I can't even tell you the intensity of the rivalry. They're playing in May. And both and Tiger Stadium and Exhibition Stadium were freaking sold out.
Either way, let's get back to so you want to start with the NL West?
Yes. Okay.
So number 1 sit the Los Angeles Dodgers, of course, 52-32. 472 runs scored, 386 runs against. That's a plus 86 run differential, 7-3 in their last 10. They have a murderer's row up front: Ohtani, Pages, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Muncy, Smith. Their pitching makes up for pitching, which besides Yamamoto has just been average.
Average at best. Do you know what I'm telling you? Do you see how many guys have started for freaking the Dodgers this year? They only have had 2 guys in the last month that are consistently going out there. Thank God Kershaw's back because now he's a regular in the rotation.
3 strikeouts away from 3,000?
Something like that. But I think this got to be his last season, don't you think?
He's approaching the end of the road.
Definitely. I mean, he's had a couple quality starts, but you're not going to see Kershaw get it deep into the 6th inning anymore.
No.
But it's another thing like the Yankees. Where do the guys get all these bullpen guys that are holding on? Because their lineup is good. And
they have, what's his name? The guy who's the architect of the Tampa Bay Rays for so long.
Oh, yeah, they stole him. I forget his name. I know what you're talking about. But that bullpen.
Freeman? Was that his name?
I believe so. The only guys, that May guy is the only guy. So put it this way. They're in first place and they've only got 2 starters that have had 15 starts.
That's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Meanwhile,
May, the second guy who's done that, his numbers have not been impressive.
No, and everybody else are bringing guys out from places I've never even heard. But the thing is that their defensive metrics are way up there. They got probably one of the best catchers in the league, in my opinion, in Will Smith. Both ends, defensively and offensively, and that's a key thing. Everybody knows you go up the middle, shortstop, catcher, center fielder. Not only those guys got to be good defensively, but you better hope they score. I mean, offensively. And Will Smith is the guy. Where did this Pages guy come from? Where did they find him? We 2 years ago we were saying, where do they find Muncy? Now we're saying, where do they find this Pages
this guy just showed up last year and
leading the league, leading the team, and all those guys. Look at that Mortars Row. Who's leading the team in RBIs?
Is it Pages?
Yeah, it's Pages.
Yeah, 50, I mean, he's only one ahead of Muncy, but you have 3 guys already with 4, with 50
six
or more.
Almost 50. The other guys are late 40s, 49, 48, I do believe.
No, you have 4 guys that are over 50, and then Freeman and Betts are at low 40s.
Oh, I thought it was
and Will Smith is low 40s.
And low 40s.
7 guys with 40 or more RBIs. That Murderer's Row.
Yes.
Come on.
And that's what they're doing it with. And it's nice to see Ohtani throwing some pitches. He threw a pitch the other night, 102, eh?
I thought it was 170 through.
Was it?
Yeah. He's a beast. He's an animal.
I would be on there. So at the beginning of the season, we all picked the Dodgers to win the division, correct?
Yes, I stand by that, although I'm a little scared of their playoff chances given their pitching.
That's what I'm saying, too. But then we get back to the other thing that you're already saying. Who cares? Once you get to the playoffs and you do the tighten up.
Yeah, but.
Nothing good comes after but. But do they smash their way to it? Is that what
I think they smash their way to the playoffs, but once you get to the playoffs, it's a different story. We know that.
That's what I've been concerned with. But they keep rolling along. And like you say, how many games up are they now?
6 games on the Padres.
They're 6 games up on the Padres, which is a team that we were talking to in pre-production and this morning when you got here. You are believing that the San Diego is going to be the one that could chase down L.A.?
I don't know. Like I said, I think the Dodgers still win the division. But, I mean, Padres, I think, are a lock to make the playoffs. And come playoff time, I think they could do something dangerous. I think this could be their year.
Who's going to be starting for them?
Who's going to be starting for them?
Yeah,
I think their pitching's been very strong, actually.
It's better than I expected. I will admit that, but it's nothing to write home about. And then I look at their lineup, and it's not near as deep.
I know they're starting a rotation. It may not blow the cover off, but consistency is key here. They have 4 guys that have an ERA under 4.
And how many guys have they had made 15 starts? I think they only have 3.
3.
Yeah, that's for every team.
That's above average in the major leagues now,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. They're another team with a decent bullpen.
A very good bullpen.
That's what's keeping there because their metrics are pretty high, too. And their fielding metrics are pretty solid, too.
Well, I think their bullpen is actually their biggest strength when it comes to pitching.
Oh, I do, too, because all those guys do. Another team get to the 5th inning, which really waters down the whole thing about the pitching situation when you look at it. However, part of the reason that I believe that San Diego could be doing a little better is when you got guys that are throwing ground balls and you're one of the top teams in the league for giving up errors. They clean that up and they'll be better because I was looking at their fielding metrics. Mm-hmm. They're not exactly the best team at fielding.
A little bit surprising considering that half their guys are really shortstops.
Yeah, but definitive word, were shortstops.
Still, I mean, you were shortstop for a reason.
Because you're supposed to be a good fielder.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you look at their lineup, does the San Diego lineup scare you?
I think they got a good lineup. I don't think it's anywhere near as deep or as talented as the Dodgers, but still formidable.
No. They've got guys. They got Tatis. They got Machado.
Well, Machado's been unreal this season. Merrill's having another great season.
Merrill's great too. Yep.
Tatis and Sheets are hitting just basically around all-star level, not maybe just under the 800 OPS mark. Arias has been a little subpar this season, but I think
who?
Arias, the second baseman.
Yeah,
first baseman.
He's having his moments this year, right? But I mean, he could come around. I think
he's not a liability with the bat, though.
No, definitely not. And here's the funny thing is, the guy that could be the best starter on San Diego by the end of the year could be Michael King. Because remember, he had some injury problems. Now he's back starting. Look at his numbers.
His numbers are very impressive.
And he's only had, 10, 12 starts?
10 starts.
Okay, so since he's come back, look at that. That's one of the things you got to put in the picture. Because
him and Pivetta have been their best pitchers by the numbers this season.
Going away. So if he stays as steady as he is for the end of the year, I think they can hold the line. But I'm of the belief that I think that San Francisco, who didn't make the playoffs last year, might be able to chase him down.
No, they've been very surprising. And I should have mentioned as well, Padres, so 6 games back, as we mentioned before. 343 runs scored, 325 runs against, so plus 18 differential. The Giants, meanwhile, basically right around the Padres for runs scored. They've only scored 4 more, but have allowed a lot less runs, so their run differential is plus 35.
With Giants?
The Giants.
Okay, but here's the thing about the Giants. The Giants can't hit near as well as the other two teams, so they need more pitching, because look at their lineup.
Okay, well, I actually think they're in a lot of the same ballpark as the Padres, where they're hitting. They have some guys, but like not nearly enough as the Dodgers. But their pitching, I think, has been very good, especially their bullpen. The addition of Devers is going to definitely help their hitting a lot.
Oh, that's meat in the lineup. To say the least about their bullpen, I think they lead the league in. They're top of the league in saves, and they're one of the top 5 teams in holds, which is huge. People forget about that stat. The hold number is very, very huge for their bullpen.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So it's been showing up for them, but I'm just saying they in the long run, and when you look at it, though, because they're going to have 4 starters, okay? Because they do have Dylan Cease, they got Pivetta, Vasquez has been okay, and now Michael King has only made his 10 starts.
Oh, we're talking about the Padres.
Padres, yeah. Now, let's go over to the Dodgers and let's see what their
Giants,
rotation. Giants, I mean, what is their rotation?
They got 4 guys as well: Webb, Ray, Roop, and Verlander. I mean, Verlander hasn't been that impressive this year.
Oh, but they got a 5th guy coming in there. If you look, I forget his name, and he's only got about 8 starts.
Birdsong?
Yeah, but he's now in the rotation. He wasn't in the rotation at the beginning of the year, like Michael King wasn't in the rotation at the beginning of the year either. So now that they're there, that could solidify your rotation as going down for the last half of the season.
Sure.
Could make them stronger, because San Francisco is also a very good defensive team. You know, or supposedly
100%.
They're
That's the Buster Posey effect in there.
But at the same time, you know what it is? You say, they got really good defense. And then sometimes you look at their metrics and you go, do they really have that good of defense?
Like fielding or pitching-wise?
Yeah, fielding. They're not. I always thought they'd be better. When I looked at their fielding, they're just middle of the pack to below average. And if you look around their lineup, it's not bad. It's not a great lineup, but it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, pitching and like they got the hitters.
Go down their lineup. You tell me the guys that's scaring you. Matt Chapman.
Well, Devers,
yes.
Heliot Ramos is hitting like an all-star.
Okay.
Chapman, another guy.
I said Chapman. Come on, we come on.
812 OPS.
Good for him, and if he can hold that for the rest of the season, he's outstanding. I'm just saying the thing about it is
Casey Schmidt as well, having a great offensive season.
He's coming around really, really well. The thing I'm saying about, for some reason, I don't know, because the way they started the season, the way they ended last year, and remember, there's 7 games over 500 right now, which a lot of people would have said, are you kidding me, at the beginning of the season? But what gets me about San Francisco is that, what are they, a bunch of 260 hitters? With that pitching and 260
They won 3 World Series doing that. Let's not forget.
But they had some guys there, you know, and it's always different during the playoffs. But I really looked at their lineup. Like I went.
No one's a liability for them, really. They just don't have too many guys that are like hitting the cover off the ball, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, so
then they do have that guy now, I guess, with Devers.
Okay, so they got some guys that are hitting okay. This Yastrzemski guy, do you really think?
Yastrzemski?
Yeah, he's okay. I'm very surprised that one thing when I looked it up there is that this Flores guy is leading them in RBIs. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be Ramos. I thought it might even have been the shortstop, because I think that he's solid. That Wiley Adams guy?
Adames, yeah.
Yeah, Adames, whatever his name is. He's solid, but I thought he would hit a little bit more. He is hitting 300, though.
Yes, okay? He is.
And I never even knew really who this guy was till I took a serious look and see what he's doing. But
wait, who are you saying is hitting 300?
Wiley Adams. Isn't he hitting 300?
He's hitting 211.
I got the wrong number here. They have no one hitting 300.
No one hitting 300.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I thought it was, what's his name? He's had 300 at bats. Now, let's go over to the other side here. That's what I'm saying about this. When Jung-Hoo Lee is one of the guys you're going to depend on to get you some at bats, where are you going? So that means everything else you need has to hit more.
His numbers are solid, though.
Solid, yes.
Not liability.
He's not liability, but let's go talk to the other teams in their RBI production, including San Diego. How many guys are hitting over 40 RBIs? On Dodgers, how many guys are hitting 40 over RBIs? Oh, let's go to the San Francisco Giants. They got 2 guys that are hitting, and only one guy's only got 44. Where are you going to get your rest of your run production?
Well, let's see. They're not done yet.
They got Devers now, which is huge, because he's going to pick it up in on there, because look at already. He's only been there no time, and he's already got, what, Sitting okay. No, he's not. He's only hitting 233. But that's what they were saying when I was looking at their hitting metrics. I'm going, it could be sketchy for San Francisco, but I think their pitching is enough that they're going to chase down San Diego.
We'll see.
Could be either way. Do you? Who did you pick? I did not pick. I think I picked San Francisco to make the playoffs. No, I didn't. I picked San Diego and Arizona.
So yeah, you picked San Diego. You did not have Arizona going into the playoffs.
Ooh, good pick for me.
I had Arizona going into the playoffs.
Because I might take the step back.
I had 3 teams from the NL West going to the playoffs.
3 teams from the NL West?
I had the Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks.
Okay, so who did I have making the playoffs? I forget.
You had the Dodgers and Padres from that division.
And then I had...
as did Kevin Peck. He had Dodgers, Padres as well.
Okay, so then from the East, we had Philadelphia and Atlanta making it, right?
Yes, me and Pick both had Atlanta. You had Philly. And then I had the Mets. You had Atlanta as a wild card team as well.
Oh, that's not working.
I had the Mets as a wild card team, and Pick had Philly and the Mets as a wild card team.
Good call on him because both those teams.
Well, not Atlanta, but
no, Atlanta. And you know what?
We all struck out with Atlanta.
We'll talk about them when it comes
in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks, we'll talk about them. So I do believe there's a possibility that San Francisco is going to be a rundown if Devers puts that meat in the batting order that they need, because there's something about San Diego that says to me, they had a great run there going into June and mid-June. I'm going, here they came. Did you see them lately? Win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose 1, and it doesn't seem to be consistent enough.
With the Padres?
Yeah.
6-4 in their last 10, though. Better than the Giants.
Well, this is the first Giant slump in a while. What are they? They're 4 and something.
4 and 6.
Yeah, but I mean, lately that's because they got 2. How many losses in a row?
Just 1.
Well, anyway, they had their first 3-game losing streak in a long time before this, so that probably affected their number. Well, we're going to wait and see. What did you want to say about Colorado?
Well, hold on, Arizona.
Oh yeah, Arizona.
So Arizona, they are sitting in 4th place, 10 games back of the Dodgers.
What an enigma.
428 runs scored, 424 against, run differential +4. So not that great for the D-backs. I guess the big thing about them is great hitting squad, but lousy pitching, although Gallen and closer Miller have been pretty good.
Do you think they got any possibility of coming back to make the playoffs?
Not with that pitching. With
Corbin Carroll out, too.
No.
You know what I mean? And they don't know when he's coming back.
Then they're saying Suarez could be dealt.
I wouldn't do that. Like, what are you going to do next year? You're at 500.
Depends what you can get for him as well, because he's aging. He's already 33.
Okay, but you might get a little bit more out of him. I'm just saying this.
Depends what they can get for him.
I've always been of the belief, and you could tell me I'm wrong, and I'm going to give you a perfect example to get there, but maybe that's just good because their team has reached their potential because we know where they are this year. If you're around 500 or a little above at the All-Star break, you always got a shot at making the playoffs. So I'm saying, like, where's Arizona when you look at the wild card standings? They're only, 3 back in the wild card or 4 back?
Let me check that quickly.
Yeah.
4 games back, but with 4 teams to pass.
Okay, so here's the big thing. Some of their guys have to be picking up on their hitting, okay? Finally, Gurriel's batting average is over 250.
I don't think hitting's the problem, though. It's their pitching. Look at their starters.
Okay, their top end. The top end of Arizona's batting order, I love. Bottom, nothing. Okay, it's like the Jays.
Yeah, but they have like 7 guys, 8 guys that can hit.
Do you think so? Do you think that Thomas is a big hitter? I don't know.
I'm not really talking about him. Pedorno, Gurriel, Naylor, Suarez, Carroll.
Okay,
Smith.
I'll give you that.
Marte.
None of those guys are having the seasons that they're supposed to. But Marte's hitting
well though.
What?
They're hitting well though.
They're you know what it is? I think it's maybe their balanced lineup because when you do look down there, they've got run production from all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to give you the benefit of a doubt on because, like I said, I always thought that at the beginning of the season that they had a possibility of showing us some pitching.
I thought their pitching would be a lot better this year.
Okay, so right now though, they got the same 5 guys going, but they're not doing it enough. Corbin Burns is still out, isn't he?
Believe so.
Yeah, because what's his name? This Nelson guy came up from the minors to fit in.
Yeah, he's got an elbow injury.
But the bottom line is that this is what I thought maybe you'd get away with in my whole pitching theory. I always look at the lineup and say, how many guys started for you during the course of the season? If you got more than 7 or 8 guys starting for you, you're in trouble.
Tampa Bay Rays.
What's that?
They start 7 or 8 guys all the time.
So do the Dodgers.
Yeah,
so it's kicking the shit out of my theory because where's Tampa Bay and where's the Dodgers? I don't understand that, but that's why they both lose in the playoffs. Like you said, you get your time.
Well, except the Dodgers just won.
Okay, but
they've won twice in the last 6 years, 5 years,
7, I think it is.
No, 2020 and 2024, so 2 and 5 years.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little bit before that. In any event, yeah, but you just said previously about the Dodgers. You said you're a little worried when them going to play this season.
But I think they should win another one. Just because you don't win back to back doesn't mean
Well, we'll get to that later. Isn't back?
I'm just saying this season specifically, the Dodgers are a little bit worrisome in that regard. But can they get their shit together for one season down the road? Of course they can.
Okay, well, we're going to have to wait and see.
Diamondbacks falling off 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost their last 3 in a row.
Oh, and they're just in trouble. So as we go right now, we'll look at the division. So even though this is our midseason, we said we'd take a look back on it. Are you going to stay with the Dodgers winning the division?
Yes, I am. And Colorado, last but definitely least, 291 runs scored, 513 against, a run differential minus 222. They sit 33 and a half games back of the Dodgers.
Are they going to be worse?
Thank God we're not Rockies fans.
No kidding. Are they going to be worse than Chicago last year?
It's trending that way.
Oh, it's just horrible. I feel like Colorado is a good sports town. I mean, Denver's a good sports town.
Horrible pitching on this team. Hunter Goodman, though, is an all-star.
Oh, yeah. Well, doesn't it seem every shitty team has one bright light, so to speak?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of players to go around here, right?
Yes, no, and maybe so. Don't do expansion. We don't have enough pitchers.
Yeah, great catcher, though, Hunter Goodman.
I do have to say this about the Diamondbacks. It's that this Suarez guy on third base come out of nowhere. He had a little power last year, but he's up the ante. He's been a slump lately.
Well, that's why they're thinking about trading him.
25 dingers. Give him a little credit there. You know what I mean? So we should move on to
the AL West.
Oh, here we go. I really believe that this may be the worst division in baseball.
Yeah, and Houston, of course, is taking full advantage of it. Pena and Paredes are the only guys sitting at an all-star level, are really only close for this team. But the pitching has been tremendous. Valdez and Brown, top of the rotation, are killing it. Abreu, Hader, Okert, King have the makings of a killer bullpen there as well.
I just, when you just think of Houston, remember, I don't think I had them making the playoffs, did I? I said they were going to be the fall-off guys.
Yeah, you had them missing.
Yeah, okay, so if you look at it this way,
I had them as a wild card, as did Kevin Pick.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a fall off because look at the guys that they've lost alone, just position players in the last few years. Springer, Bregman, the center fielder for Minnesota.
Altuve's game's fallen off as well.
He's still hitting okay.
He's not anywhere near where he used to be.
Oh, he's a lot older, too. And they were smart, and they stuck him in right field. Smartest move ever.
Left field, isn't it?
Or left field.
Left field, yeah.
In any event, I just look at Houston and I said all the parts, which tells you the organization is well stocked, or they're do something to keep the guys in competition. I mean, how many years in a row now is Houston never missing the playoffs? Or they're always in contention, or they're always there, and they've won a World Series. They've been to another one. They've got 4 division titles or 5 division titles in the last 8 or 9 seasons.
I've been to the World Series more than just a couple.
Is it 3 times then?
I think 4 times.
Whatever the case may be, it's just insane that they've been.
I think they won 2, lost 2.
Is that what it is? You could be right. I'm just saying I'm impressed that they have the organization that they can replenish on a regular basis to stay competitive on this level.
Sure.
Okay, because you're looking around at it, okay, who are the great hitters on this team besides nobody? And you're talking about guys that are trying to get 50 RBIs or 40 RBIs. They don't even have a guy that's got 50 RBIs.
Yeah, so I was right. They won 2, lost 2. World Series.
Okay, but look at this lineup. Do you know any of these guys?
Well, Paredes, he played with Tampa Bay. I remember him.
I do too, but he's not doing anything spectacular. But he's doing okay.
831 OPS.
And I'm these OPS numbers and all that. That's a great stat net. I'm number 2. I'm old school in this event. Can you score runs and drive them in? And he's been solid.
They're doing enough.
He's hitting in the cleanup spot too, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's hitting the cleanup spot, but I don't think Jeremy Pena guy he's hitting 317. So what? 11 of 40. Okay, he's already. But you know what? I'll give it to him though. That's shortstop production. So I get shortstop and catcher production. With those numbers, I'm very, very happy. But I just keep looking at this team and I'm going, wow, how do you guys keep doing it?
Pitching.
Yes, and with a modicum of hitting. And even though the pitching they've lost.
Hey, 348 runs scored, 304 against. That's incredible.
Solid.
Plus 44 differential.
Solid. Oh, no, I see that, and I give them all the credit in the world. I'm just saying, do you think they're going to win the division?
Oh, hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
Seattle's got no...
They're ahead by 6.5 games. Seattle are frauds.
I hate to I hate to say it because I picked them to make the playoffs, didn't I?
You had them, let's see.
Winning the division, I believe.
You did.
Yeah.
And I told you and pick, and I told you guys both that day that was a horrible pick.
Well, no, obviously, it's not done yet, but
I mean, I had Texas, so it's not a great pick either.
But what happened to Texas?
Well, let's go with the Mariners first because they're in second place.
Okay.
So Kyle Raleigh playing like basically an MVP level the way he's playing at right now.
The big dumper?
Yeah, big dumper. I wonder what his mom feels about that nickname.
No kidding. But not only that, he's everything about baseball. The crazy nickname, a catcher, hardcore.
Torpedo bat.
Torpedo. All of the above. But I'm worried about this. Did this guy ever get a day off?
Well, I mean, neither has Kirk. He's been DHing. I don't know the situation with Raleigh. I imagine he's not DHing as much.
I think he should be because, if they're going to make it, and they're only 2 games over 500, what's their run differential? It's not that great, is it?
Their run differential
I think they're minus at one point.
Plus 11.
Okay. You know what? When we started taking notes, they were a minus.
Yeah.
Like that's 2 weeks ago. They were a minus. So up 11, that's good. Something's good's coming
but they have problems. So Crawford and Polanco are hitting well, but Rodriguez and Rosarena hitting well below what we expect.
Rosarena's up to 294 now. Oh, no. What's he hitting now? No, he's not. He's only hitting... No, he's hitting okay.
238?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was 288. That's a disaster.
Only 8 home runs so far.
Yeah. They stole him from Tampa, didn't they?
Yeah, they did last year.
And it's just not working for them.
No.
That's sad.
Pitching is pretty good. Wu pitching great to start, and Munez has been a good closer, but they don't have great pitching depth.
No, but I mean, like their calling card to get in last year was their pitching, and I thought that had a little more hitting to do it. But they
didn't add any hitting.
No, they didn't do anything. Are they scared to pay money?
100%. Nintendo, you're getting all that Switch 2 money. What are you doing there, man?
Switch, you know what? I'm not a video game guy, but that went off the counter quick, eh?
There's a lot of Nintendo bootlickers out there.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. That's what you want to call them. Because I heard, I'm not a video game guy, as you know it. And then I heard that it went off was selling at record pace or something.
It was the fastest. It sold like 3 million like the first 2 days or something.
I was blown away. I went, what?
I'm not paying $700 for that, but
I'll
digress.
Yes, exactly. It's not like PlayStation.
It's portable though.
That's the trick to it. In any event, when I look even at Seattle, I thought that they would be a little bit better. I think the biggest problem for them is that they didn't get Logan Gilbert with his nagging injuries. That affected their starters because I thought he's a front-end guy. He's probably one of the best strikeout to walk ratios in baseball in the last couple of years. And what has he got? 9 starts? You know what I mean? And who are the rest of these guys? I don't know. I think that he's an innings eater, but I'm not necessarily saying he's ready for the Cy Young, but he's very surprised me this year is this Brian Wool guy.
Yeah. Tremendous start to the season for him.
If he had a little bit more run support, he would have 10 or 12 wins. Like the guy.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? He's got 12 quality starts. Go around the league and see how many guys got 12 quality starts.
ERA under 3, whip under 1, 96 strikeouts already.
Yes.
Only 17 walks.
No kidding. I mean, he's like, where did this guy come from? And once you get to the All-Star break, which he's going to play in the All-Star game, when you start talking about candidates for the awards this year, isn't he a Cy Young candidate?
Of course.
You know what I mean? Look at those numbers.
Already had 100 innings pitched?
Yes, I think he's a league leader in innings pitched. I'm not quite sure, but I know he's right up there. Where was this guy last year? He did win 14 games, though, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Something like that?
Let me quickly check that.
Yeah, I got it right here, too. I think he won 14 games last year, which is really...
He's basically on pace to do that again.
Yeah, but only because he's got no...
9 wins last year.
I thought he had 12.
He was 9-3 last year.
So that means he was there, but how many starts did he have?
22.
Yeah, so he's gonna be up because I think they brought him up in May or something, June, right? Was he one of those deals where he
Probably May.
I think it was May they brought him up, but it looks like he's
Either
gonna
way.
he's gonna get 30 starts. He's been a revelation to me. I seen him pitch the other night because I see the West Coast games. First 3 innings, I don't think anyone got the bat on the ball. He's got a funky slur. Is that what it's called?
Slurve? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a funky slurve, but I'm still saying I think that they can make the playoffs.
I think the only reason they do make the playoffs is just because the AL is so shit, but like they got first round exit written all over them.
I like how you just say, what is it? Kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down?
I just tell how it is.
Okay.
Next up, we have the LA Angels, surprisingly holding it in third place, despite a minus 46 run differential. 355 for 401 against.
Okay.
First of all, I mean, we have to bring up the health situation of Ron Washington. He's had to step away from the team.
I was just going to say, let's hope his health is going to be good. I think this is the end of the line for him. He's an old guy. He's in his 70s, isn't he?
He was a character in Moneyball as well.
There you go.
He was an infield coach.
Yeah, so I think that his time has come. God bless him. You know what I mean? God bless them. But I think the whole team there, what happened to Texas? They're one game under 500. If they could just squeeze.
LA Angels, we're talking about.
Oh, the Angels. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Anyways, I'm more inclined to believe that the Rangers will get there, not the Angels.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about the Angels first. So Angels are 41-41.
Got you. Minus 46 run differential, which is brutal. Mike Trout, what's going on with him? Is he done? No, but he's just a middle of the pack guy now.
Still got some power.
Oh, he catches it. I
mean, this is the first time he's playing ball games in forever. So, I mean, this is the first step to him hopefully getting back to what we expect to see out of him, right?
I don't think we'll ever see him back to Mike Trout numbers. I hope we
obviously,
do.
But like, if he hits it like an all-star level, goes to like 800 OPS, has like the nice little ride into the sunset career.
I hope he does. Because is he still a Hall of Famer?
100%. I've stood by that.
100%?
Yeah. He'll get in. He's too beloved by the baseball community to not get in. Too well respected. The MVPs, come on.
Let's just put it this way. For about 5 years, they were talking about him being like one of the 10 greatest baseball players of all time.
I remember.
And you look at all his numbers, plus his defense. Don't forget, the man can play defense. He'll throw
five-tool
guys
player.
There you go. But it's really, really sad. Like, come on, this is Mike Trout, and you're hitting 231?
I mean, they got some bats, but overall, a very average at best hitting unit. No pitching. Kikuchi's good, but he's only one dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's having a great season, actually. Shout out to him.
He's having a solid season, you know what I mean? But look they got, Soler was a guy they spent money on. 207.
Oh, no, come on. Kikuchi's ERA is 2.79. He's already pitched 96 innings.
Oh, no, I think Kikuchi's guy. But
99 punch-outs.
Every time I see him pitch, I give him a high five. I think we shouldn't have let him go so quickly. I just think he
I think it was a money thing.
Maybe. That's what it is. But, I mean, they picked up Soler from, where did they pick him up? Kansas City or Tampa Bay? He was supposed to be the one guy to solidify their thing and as the right fielder with the arm. What's he hitting? 231? Or whatever. He's horrible. You're not going to win like that.
Also, Tim Anderson, this guy fell off hard.
Oh, another guy. What happened to him?
I don't understand.
I thought he was going to be a guy that was going to do something.
Well, it's funny how quickly things changed. Like when we started this podcast just a few years ago, he was the guy at the forefront of the White Sox, the sexiest team in baseball.
They're going to make the playoffs. Oh, yes.
And then they hired the old man as their manager and everything.
Do you remember Tim Anderson?
Reinsdorf is one of the worst owners in sports right now.
It's got to be. Remember Wilbon on PTI doing cartwheels when you'd say Tim Anderson's name? Because he'd be mad, like, why don't we have him for the Cubs?
Yeah.
He goes, I got to watch baseball in Chicago every day, and they got that guy. I remember all that talk. And what happens to these guys? He had a wrist problem, though, right?
I don't know.
He had some kind of wrist problem or something, and that affects your hitting.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Because this guy, he looked kind of 5'2"ish.
Yeah.
You know,
and he's a shortstop too, so he's supposed to. You need those wrists for that as well.
Okay, so now where is he? Like, come on! And you know what? Once again, he's only played 31 games.
It's a shock that this team. So they're 7.5 games within the division, but they're only a game within the Mariners for that last wild card spot by some miracle.
But I think they'll fall away farther.
That's been their story the last few years, where they kind of like, they might make it, but then the second half they're off the cliff. We remember a couple of years ago when they made all those trades, and then they sold them off like not even a month later.
Yeah, because that was insane. That was an insult to baseball. Insult to baseball. I remember talking about that. But I think the thing about it is, I think they're going to fall. They'll be just like bye-bye. And I think Texas, we're going to just talk about, I think Texas is going to jump up and catch them.
Maybe. I mean, Texas, no offense. Josh Smith, their best starter, offensive-wise. He's hitting 276, 346 on base, 418 slugging, and a 764 OPS, which is good. But, I mean, as your best guy, it's a little bit disappointing.
You got to have 3 of him at least on your team to get going.
Their pitching has been great, though, especially led by DeGrom, who's come back to have a great season.
I am so happy for DeGrom. And they got 2 other guys that have made 15 starts, haven't they? I do believe.
I believe so.
You know, let me just get my little thing up here.
They're 8 games back of the division, 304 runs scored, 286 against. That's killer. And if they can figure out their hitting situation and somehow make the playoffs, watch out.
I know they can, and I thought they would do better this year. You did too, obviously.
I thought they'd win the division. I thought they'd figure out their hitting and their pitching. I mean, that side of the ball's been okay.
And you know, when you really look at it, though, some of the guys that they've got, is Marcus Semien past his best before date? I say no. He's hitting 295 again. Okay.
He's hitting 231. Where are you getting your numbers from?
Sorry, 231. I mean, but he's played in his 82 games, which is what you want him out there every day.
Yeah, but his bat's garbage.
He's total bases. I thought he'd be way more because he's usually up there. He's
647 OPS. That's rough.
Oh, that hurts there. Yeah.
Let's go down to AAA numbers.
Look at their team, though, eh? And they spent money on a bunch of these guys. Corey Seager.
Yeah. I mean, he's hitting pretty well, but
is he? He's another guy.
760 OPS.
Missed 30 games.
Yeah, there you go.
That hurts him. You know, a guy I thought that I would really stand out because you can see I have this magazine here, and I always grab magazines to see what they were saying.
Magazines still exist? They still make those?
I'm old. I just bought a new football one, and all the guys are making fun of me. I just like to touch the shit. A guy that I thought would step out, and I was doing my notes when I was looking at one of my old books and this. I don't even bring it up before because I like this style of play and shit like that. Did you see their catcher?
What about him?
I thought that this was going to be his year to go forward. And, I mean, he's only played 63 games, and they say he's a bit up. His name is John Helm. He's not that old. I thought he'd be a guy. Whatever. 226.
Yeah, that ain't it, Chief.
Okay, so you got it's
631 OPS.
Oh, you're killing me. But you know what they say, and one of the things I was watching Harold Reynolds on MLB, and he put up an old school thing the other day to say about teams that are going to win, is he's saying, you have to have above average production at catcher, you have to have above average production at shortstop, and above average production at center field. Do these guys have that?
No.
So it's going to be really sad. I think they're going to end up ahead of Los Angeles, but their chances of making the playoffs, I don't see it. I don't see any depth but you got to remember the Tigers last year. Stay around 500 or whatever, and you're going to make it go, and you're going to do it. But I see the Texas going nowhere.
Unless they can figure out their hitting. But again, AL, not good.
No.
Only a game and a half back of the final wild card spot.
Does that get back to our original premise that those teams don't want to spend money and the other teams do?
Oh, AL versus NL, it's
now that you look up the numbers, it's just like, why? You know what I mean? Is that going to be, you know what I mean? I hate to say it, but that's the preview to the salary cap for baseball.
100%.
That's the one factor I hate to admit, because my belief is that this is still America's game and capitalism runs America. So why would you change it in baseball?
Well, so is football.
Yeah, but football they had to do differently because
it's America's game.
Now it is. But is it?
And as a salary cap.
Okay, but what they did was back in the day of football is they respected all the markets. Baseball never has respected all the markets.
Well, we don't have time for this conversation.
Okay, we'll put that up for another time.
Athletics, last and least here. Top good end hitters like Rooker and Wilson, but no depth. Pitching very, very poor. Numbers are basically all over this place, including for Severino, who's their big offseason spent. 349 runs scored, which is pretty good. 484 against, though. Minus 135 differential. They are 16 games back of the division. No shot, and second last in the American League. They're done. Maybe next year, A's.
Okay, so now that we get out of here, no, Sacramento. They get a chance to watch some baseball in Sacramento. That's a good thing.
Okay.
You get to get some fans there. So we'll leave this whole baseball thing at this division thing, since we made predictions earlier. Now that we're here this time of year, we both believe that the Dodgers are going to make it. We both believe that San Diego is going to make it.
Yes. Probably the Giants as well.
I'm yes and no, because I can't wait till we talk about the Central divisions, which will be next week. We'll talk about.
Yes,
I can't because those divisions are those are dog fights.
Yes, they are.
And we can't say like Texas and LA are falling off. Wait till next week when we'll get to it. It's going to be okay. But then when you look at the West, I'm willing to bet by the end of the season, even though because it's the worst league, the American League, AL West is terrible.
But 2 teams might get in, just because of how bad the AL is.
So that means maybe I'm going to be biting my tongue not to say it. Okay,
just say it.
Worst division in baseball, but I can't say that if 2 teams make it. Then do I? Is that contradiction?
Well, the whole league is shit.
You know what it is? It boils down to that run differential.
Yeah.
You know what you were talking. I mean, money differential. That NL teams.
Oh, yeah.
AL West. Anything else you want to bring up about the division?
Yeah, just a couple more things about baseball. So, former Blue Jay Whit Merrifield announces his retirement.
I liked him.
I liked him too. Had a good bat. And the Wander Franco situation has come to a bit of a conclusion here. Found guilty for a relationship with a minor in the Dominican Republic, receives a 2-year suspended sentence. The girl's mother also found guilty as she was taking money from Wander Franco to basically give her blessing to the relationship.
I hate when I heard suspended sentence. I lost my mind because that's going to avoid jail time. This guy should go to jail, man. Come on, we have high standards here. I mean, I look.
His MLB career is done, though. You think? No, that's a PR disaster.
Good. He'll play in Japan?
Maybe.
Oh, no.
His MLB career is done, though. Regardless.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't feel
Who's
bad.
going to bring him back?
I don't know.
You want to deal with that?
I'm just saying that one of the greatest things, and Mr. and Mrs. Milani, if you guys are listening to this right now, your son has slapped me silly about some of this righteous shit.
No, come on. He's
you're
just
right.
found guilty for a relationship with a minor. He's done.
Okay,
he's done.
Great. No, I'm alluding to the fact that your moral high ground is something to be admired. I'm still thinking about those sleazy ass things that baseball do. I'm going through maybe because I'm older. Maybe you were brought up a little bit. The sense of time is much better. But for you to say that, I'm backing you, bro. I'm backing you.
Right.
Oh, I like everything that you morals. Here's what I would say: morals and manners are mandatory.
I agree.
Don't you agree? That's the way it was my house.
Yep.
Bet you it was like that in your house.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't at Franco's house.
Apparently not.
Okay.
Should be laughing. Anything else for baseball?
Yes, I got to say this really quickly, and especially going out to Paul Semenuk, if you're listening there. I don't know if you know this. I'm getting a little sad when I think about it, but I grew up as Dave Parker being one of my favorite baseball players. And if anyone says who's your favorite baseball players of all time, all the boys know it on the Sluggers. I pulled Dave Parker's name out of the hat every time. One of my favorite ball players. Unfortunately, had some nerve disorders, and he died, a couple days ago, 48 hours ago? So God bless the Cobra. Dave Parker from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they showed it on the news. If you're going to put anyone online and show him throwing out the 2 guys in the All-Star game alone from right field, and I want to say, you find anybody that could throw the ball like Dave Parker? Unbelievable. Check him out. MVP World Series, MVP for the season, 3-time batting title, and the reason it took him so long to get in the Hall of Fame is that deal about the writers didn't like him. God bless him.
Rest in peace, Dave Parker.
Yes.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, we'll move this to the NHL where Alexander McGilley, Zdeno Chara, Duncan Keith, and Joe Thornton all get to the call to the Hall. 4 very deserving players.
Did you notice I put everything down in my hands? Did you notice there's nothing in my hands right now? Did you see my thing on the wall up there? Did you see the goalies up there?
Yes, I do.
What makes you a first ballot Hall of Famer?
You're voted in first.
By who?
The committee.
That committee's bullshit. I
Why?
don't care.
Why?
Because you know why.
No, I don't.
Carey Price should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And
I don't agree with that.
I'm screaming with you. No way.
Why? Why is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
They always say about your career. First of all, it's a hockey Hall of Fame, not an NHL Hall of Fame. So
Agreed.
let's encompass his whole career. And number 2 is, how about your longevity? He played long enough. Number 3, were
not
you
that long.
Were you the
He was
5?
injured for long stretches of his career.
He had a couple times he was there. Was he the best goalie in the league for at least 5, in the world for at least 5 seasons?
I'd say 3 or 4.
You're a
Look at the
Habs hater.
numbers.
You're a Habs
Look at the
hater.
numbers.
I have looked at the numbers. Okay, you didn't want him playing for Team Canada?
Okay. Is it
World
lined
Juniors, Team Canada dragged Montreal so many times to where they were. We could have won the Stanley Cup the year that Boston won, because remember we lost in Game 7 in overtime to Boston. They won it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were battling there. The only reason we were that far is because of Price. When they were 3 years ago, when we knocked you guys out, when you were supposed to go there,
agreed. It was the Carey Price show.
So was there a better goalie in the world for? You're saying 3 to 5. I think
3
you
to
should
4,
be like,
yeah.
Stop it. I'll go back and
I
I'll
looked
get
at the
this.
numbers.
All I'm saying is this: when we talk about GOATs in Hall of Fame, there has to be levels to this shit. And I'm pissed off at these people because Carey Price will not be able to say he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. And
He's going to get in, though.
I don't give a shit. I don't like that. And I made a thing about this the same reason
The first ballot, it's so overrated saying you're a first ballot Hall of Famer or not.
I don't think so. I think you're crazy. You know what they say in Canton? There's 2 rooms for
It's
those
based on-
guys and everybody else. So why isn't Carey shouldn't be in that
It's not like
room?
that in the Hockey Hall of Fame, though.
I know, because it's a weaker Hall of Fame. We got Clark Gillies in there, Rogie Vachon in there. And listen, if McGillney could have waited this long, he could have waited 1 year.
If he could have waited that long, Price can wait 1.
Nah, it's a different type of player. McGillney was never considered the best player in the league. McGillney was never considered the best hockey player for 5 years.
Let's read McGillney's numbers.
He's got solid numbers.
Olympic gold medal,
I'm
World
not saying-
Championship gold medal, World Junior gold medal, Stanley Cup.
The greatest Russian line of all time.
Yes, with
got all
Pavel
that.
Bure and Fedorov. 93, he led the league in goals with 76 goals. 2003 Lady Byng winner, 3-time second-team All-Star, 6-time All-Star, 990 games in the NHL, 473 goals, 1,032 points.
That's nice, dear. Now, if we came to a draft and you had to draft McGillney or Price, he's throwing down to you right now. You got to pick. If you say McGillney, I got nothing in my hands. I'm going to step back.
I'll admit Leaf bias, but I'll take McGillney.
Oh, it's 100%.
I love McGillney with the
this
Leafs.
This guy, you know what? Everybody listening.
Oh, you don't have Habs bias?
No, his credentials say so.
Oh my God.
You know what? I love my accomplice, but right now, man, I could throw something at you. Come on. This is
wow.
I'm pissed. You're not giving Carey Price any credit.
For long stretches of his career, he was either injured or shit.
Stop.
Sorry.
Oh, come on. You know what? We better end this conversation now. I can't believe that you're disrespecting Carey Price this much in my house.
I'm saying he is going to be.
I wish Finnegan was my dog now. I'd tell him to bite your leg.
Wow.
Yes, I'm pissed.
I'm glad Finnegan's not here.
You
then.
should be glad he's not here. Finnegan, you see that guy over there with a Leaf shirt, and he's staring with a Leaf shirt on, staring at me in a Leaf
Proudly.
shirt. I bet you wore it on purpose just to piss me off. That's what I'm thinking. I'll be damned.
Well, I wasn't wearing it because of that, to be honest.
It's like, what do you call that? Subliminally? You know what I mean? Bring in a little secondary hearsay.
I
on
wore it
that
because of
one.
other reasons that we'll discuss.
Okay, I got it. I know why. I could. We'll get there first. No, okay.
Yeah,
you
so
know
you
what?
have
First
issues
of
with
all,
McGillney going in.
No,
but
no,
the
no.
other three.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. For those years that McGillney got skipped, there was a few times I went, whoa.
He was skipped 16 years.
Okay, but there was a few times I thought he should have got in front of other people. So here's the sad thing about this. Let's congratulate everybody that went into Hall of Fame this year, because this is supposed to be a celebration of people that have had a great career and are deserving to go in there. Now, I'm going to go back to my original debate, which I hate, and baseball has proved it. Why do they have to have a veterans committee? Because when those little bitches get into that room, and you call them the old boys club all the time, I didn't bring that up. You said old boys club. There's only 18 of them. They close the door. They do not have to divulge anything that they say or do. So you know what? I used to like Jerome McGillney. Pure Habs hater.
How do you know he didn't have Price on his ballot?
I bet he didn't.
Nah, okay.
I'll make him wait.
We don't do conspiracy theories on this show.
And that's why I'm saying if you vote for the MVP,
okay, but you can't just accuse a guy because it's a closed.
I'm going to say the whole committee.
Oh my God!
But
this goes back to my point they made before that you defended. By the way,
let's get this straight.
If there's 10 guys that deserve to go in, put all 10 in.
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, after your guy got left out.
No,
listen to the tapes. You gave me shit for this.
Okay, and I don't think that you should have 1,000 guys in because it takes away from the guys at the time.
But if there's no guys that deserve to get in 1 year, so be it. That's my point.
That's how Clark Gillies and Rogie Vachon got in. We didn't have anybody else to put in. Put them in. That's bullshit too.
Nah, I don't like that. Well, Rogie Vachon, you look at his numbers, he should be a Hall of Famer.
He was a Hab guy too, and I loved him when I was a kid. But he only got in because of his longevity, nothing else. He was not a Hall of Fame goalie. I do not believe he was a Hall of Fame.
I don't know. My mom disagrees with you there.
Okay, and I thought he was a great goalie. He was a Hall of Great, in my opinion.
What?
Let's go
back. Were we celebrating the Hall of Fame? I thought it was about greatness.
Go back to Rogie Vachon's year that he got elected and see who else was around. Okay. In baseball, they don't do that. They just don't vote nobody in.
So as a Habs fan, you're retiring Carey Price's number?
100%.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
100%.
So the Habs are retiring numbers of guys that didn't win the cup now. Good to know.
Well, go on the Leafs. You better back up on that real quick.
Well, I know because you guys made fun of us for that. That's my point.
No, I never make fun of any. I never did personally.
Okay.
I would never. I want Daryl Sittler's to be in the rafters all the time. I seen Daryl Sittler's whole career. You know what he is to hockey? He's my Charles Barkley of hockey.
Okay.
That's how much I like of Daryl Sittler. Okay, so I was never. The only thing that pissed me off about the Leafs is because I lived in Windsor and we had to watch the Leafs all the fucking time, and I had to hook the wire to the screen to get the French channel to get the Habs. That's the only thing that I did like.
Great in Toronto as well. Then
what's that?
Great in Toronto.
Now that I moved here and I just had to beat my head against the wall. Thanks God, all the broadcasting changed, so you never had to put up what we had to put up when we were young. You get everything. When I was your age, they just started doing that. But imagine you're...
Well, you don't get everything. You got to pay for the package to get everything.
Okay, but I'm saying you get a lot more. Okay, just say like when you were 25 years old watching hockey and I'm 25 years old watching hockey. Ooh,
yeah, night and day. I get it.
That's what I'm saying. So, but yeah, I would put Carey Price in. And if
he's going to get in next year. Come on.
I'm still pissed. I'm beyond pissed. More than you ever... you knew I was mad.
Also, don't forget about your conspiracy theory from when he retired. Don't you think that has maybe a hand to play in it?
100%. And we won't bring that up. I say that's the number one reason. I didn't want to bring it up, but in my personal opinion, I think that's the number one reason that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. In my heart of hearts, I do believe that. And if people want to take that to the bank, we're not going to talk about it. No. That's just another situation. But I think that's number one.
I think he's going to walk in next year, though.
Oh, I think they're going to. You know what I would do? I wouldn't show up.
Yeah, okay. Be a little bitch about it.
When you heard that Carey Price did not.
I wasn't that surprised.
Okay,
because we all knew this was a very tough class.
Oh, one of the best in a long time.
Although, I think Ryan Getzlaf's going to have to wait a lot longer than people may realize.
There's another.
How many career goals does he have? 282.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
My prediction is they're going to put him and Perry in together, so they're going to wait for Perry.
Wow. Perry's going in for sure.
I think so.
Okay.
I think they're going to pull a Kriya Solani thing, do the same thing.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That might be the same for Datsuk Zetterberg because they're making Zetterberg wait a bit too.
I don't think Zetterberg's borderline Hall of Fame for me.
Ooh, he was very good for a long time.
Oh, yeah. As a two-way and everything.
Datsuk,
is he in yet?
Olympic gold. Datsuk, no, because he played in Russia for a little bit too, right? And I think they got to waive the 3 years to get Yager in. Come on.
Oh, he'll be going in with frickin' Bedard.
He'll be dead. That's what I'm. They got to, at a certain point, they got to waive it for him. Come on.
Well, that's his own doing, though. I think he should be.
Okay, but the committee can decide to waive the rule if they want to.
Old boys club.
They've done it before.
When one person, is it?
Lemieux, Howe, Gretzky.
That's it.
Lafleur.
No.
There's a list of like 10 guys.
I don't think is there.
It's a list of 10 guys or something. We've talked about this before on the show.
I forgot about that. Did they? 10 guys just got waived?
Yeah.
Wow.
Beliveau maybe was one.
Wow, that's an interesting stat. In any event, I always believe in the levels because when we have the GOAT conversation, what makes you the GOAT, there's different levels. So if someone says that Carey Price is not the greatest goaltender of all time, that's debatable, but I'll live with that, okay? Because what's going to happen when Connor McDavid doesn't win a Stanley Cup?
He's going to be in.
But he'll never be the GOAT.
Okay.
But he's one of the greatest hockey players I've ever seen play the game. Come on.
Okay, so it's on the Hall of Fame website.
Well, you know what, Hall of Fame, I'm going to start petitioning for.
Okay, so here are the players that it's been waived for. Dick Clapper, Rocket Richard, Ted Lindsay, Red Kelly, Terry Sawchuk, John Beliveau, Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky.
That's a pretty freaking solid list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty solid. I get it. Well, and you know what? Then maybe they should put Yager in. But if they haven't done it now, it's getting to be a little too late.
I think I don't know about that.
Because you know what they did? They waived them.
Late.
They waived them immediately.
But Yager's such a unique circumstance.
Unbelievable. I will accept that totally. And he's still playing, eh?
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
And is he on like a part-time owner or something?
Yeah, he's basically keeping that team alive.
That's what I hear. What about the train rides? He don't care. He gets to gamble on the train.
He doesn't play. I mean, he like the couple seasons ago, I know he was sitting out a bunch of games, but he played in a lot of games this past season.
He played 50-some games.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, at his age, he played 50-some games, so God bless him. Anyways, we'll get back to this. I'm just going to say this about the Hall of Fame one more time. If you have to reveal who you voted for, like they were talking about on the sports shows, if you're regular season and you vote for an MVP, you got to just who you voted for MVP, who you voted for best defenseman, etc.
But that just came out, though. That became public.
That's a good thing. Well, they better get your old boys club to start showing their true colors really soon. Well, they did to baseball finally. That's what happened in baseball.
That was a little bit of a different story because that was a bunch of the writers being pricks.
Well, I'm skeptical.
Because Hockey Hall of Fame, like it seems like you will.
How does Iriga Larionov get on that committee?
Larionov? Oh, he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. How did that Pascal girl get in there? She a Hall of Famer too?
Pascal.
Oh, they're all Hall of Famers. If you're on the committee, you're in the Hall of Fame, right?
Cassie Campbell, you're talking about?
Is that her name? She's in the Hall of Fame, though, right?
She is.
Yeah, so everybody in there is in the Hall of Fame. So Jerome McGillna got, and I loved everything about Jerome McGillna until Carey Price didn't get in. So Jerome,
how are you blaming it on him?
It starts with the guys in the room. You only get 18, and your argument's more persuasive than everybody else. You win.
How do you know it's him, though? You have no evidence. You have nothing to back up your point.
I can't prove that Epstein didn't commit suicide either, okay?
Okay, but there's a lot of things there and there that you can point to. You're like, that's weird, that's weird, that's weird, that's weird.
How did he get on the committee so damn quick?
Aginla? Because he's a legend.
Okay, what about other legends around the league? Why didn't they get in?
I'm sure also you guys say yes or no.
I could say some other shit, but I won't go there because I like the guy too much till now.
Okay, we won't go here with your vendetta against Jerome McGinley. One of my favorites here.
He was one of my favorites until...
Okay, sour grapes.
Thank you very much. You know what I mean? And you know, I heard Bob McKenzie talking about... You want to talk about a motherfucker dancing around it? What is this? Get smart in a cone of silence?
Oh, my God.
He danced around everything, and everyone says, well, I can't say this, we're sworn to secret. But, you know, this is a solid fact that everybody knows. And, and he goes, you know, there was discussions in the room. As soon as he said that, I went, who's the loudest voice?
I just think you're bitching because you didn't like the result.
When you heard it, did you think I was going to be happy?
Of course not.
I'm still pissed.
That's because I know you.
I'm still pissed. Like, beyond pissed.
Well, you're going to be pissed for at least another year, so.
If he doesn't win next year, I'm going to...
I think he will.
I'll be Terrell Owensing it. Come on.
Who do you think is... Who else is, like, kind of, like, next in line? I think Keith Kachuk's going to get in soon, believe it or not.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
500 goals.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, but who is his center? I forget.
Pavel Dimitra in St. Louis.
And somebody else.
Roenick in Arizona.
Yeah, he had guys setting him up all day. He wasn't, you know what he was? I'm not saying he was a cherry picker.
500 goals is 500 goals.
It's 500 goals. Yeah, he'll get in.
The amount of guys who have 500 goals and not in the Hall of Fame, it's a very slim list. There's a few.
Is there?
Very few, though.
Very few. But you know what? In their prime, I'd rather have Getzlav than Kachuk. At
Fair.
the top of the game. Like, if I had to go down, we're going to go down.
But I think Getzlav's going to have to wait a lot less than Kachuk did.
What's that?
Getzlav's going to have to wait a lot less than Kachuk did.
Oh, yeah. I agree. To Kachuk goes up. This is his 10th year or something, right?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah, he's
Cujo's got to get in soon. One of these years. Come on. You said yourself, on any given day, he was the top 3 goalie in the league for a long time.
How long? Not as long as Price.
10 years.
You're going to say he was one, and your Price wasn't?
No, okay, you said Price was the best. I'm saying, okay, Price was, your argument with that, he was the very best for 5 years. I'm saying 3 or 4. Top 5, okay, fine. Cujo was the top 5 goalie in the league, probably top 4 for 10 years.
I'd say Price is the same. I don't know.
I think Cujo's got to wait, so.
Do you think Cujo's getting in?
Eventually.
I think as a Toronto will get him there. And I'm not saying just because of Toronto, but I mean, he should get, he's borderline for me. Because earlier in his career,
he's
what was
like
he
top
doing?
5 in wins, too.
Oh, he played a long time, which is a credential to get in there. I don't want to say nothing bad about Cujo. I just don't want to say nothing about it, but I still say he's borderline to me.
I think Brendan Moore is I think Brendan Moore might get in.
Oh, another guy. Don't start getting into Clark Gillies territory. Like, it's going to be one of those years we don't have a guy.
2 Selke trophies.
So what?
That's a big award.
You know what? John Tonelli was pretty good for a minute, too, and he never got nowhere. There's a bunch of guys around the league that you could think about.
But Brendan Moore, we can't get in this Hall of Fame discussion for too long, but
okay.
Brendan Moore, another guy, played a long time.
Yeah, okay.
Long time.
We're going to see there's a lot of guys around the league that you could say that. I'm just terribly disappointed. And like I said, can I get back to the point where I'm going to say I'm very sorry that we should be celebrating the people get in more than me bitching about who didn't get in? Because that's what happens. It shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be screaming because that means I'm disrespecting people, and I don't want to disrespect anyone who's going in the Hall of Fame, okay?
No, yeah.
And I do agree that McGillney took too long.
Agreed. Okay. Again, congratulations, McGillney, Chara, Duncan Keith, and Joe Thornton.
All deserved players, 100%.
To the NHL, it's officially the offseason. Trevor Zegras traded to the Philadelphia Flyers for Ryan Poehling, pick number 45 in the draft, and Philly's 4th rounder in 2026. Interesting move. I'm sure him and the Russian there are going to be practicing the Michigan since Tortorella's out of town.
Can you imagine those two on the same line?
Ooh, could be interesting. I don't know if they're going to pair them together, but sorry about that. But it's definitely going to be a lot of fun in Philly to watch those two together.
Especially with Talk as coach now. You know what I mean? Do you think he'll take any edge off the Russian, the kid? Do you think he'll make or he'll play? Because he won't. He's not Tortorella.
No.
But
I mean, it'll be like, hey, like have your fun, but like play within the system.
Play within the system. Yeah. I got that.
I think Talk is that kind of coach. I don't think he's going to be. He was a player at the end of the day. He knows what's up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm figuring. That's why he's a good coach.
Exactly.
You know.
Edmonton dumping a bunch of cap space, trading Evander Kane to Vancouver for Ottawa's 4th round pick. A move I kind of called that Edmonton should do. They did.
Yes.
Vancouver Canucks fans already freaking out because they're wondering how many games is Kane going to play, 1? And 2, is he a locker room cancer?
I don't agree with that. I heard that, like,
who? Ooh, he seems to get out of there pretty quick everywhere he's played.
Okay.
Winnipeg, he burned bridges. Buffalo, he's burned bridges. Looks like he's burned bridges in Edmonton now, too, since it's come out that Edmonton's not being investigated because of the LTIR. It's Kane himself because he waited a long time for the surgery. And that was his decision.
I think that he's going to beat that charge anyway because he's going to say it's
but the
my
fact
body.
that the league's looking into it with him.
Because he's Evander Kane.
Yeah.
There you go. But
still, he pulled a Scottie Pippen.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. There's no doubt about that.
So I understand why the Canucks fans would be upset.
Mm-hmm. So why can't you tell? No, okay, keep going on those because I think you should be getting to as pissed off as I was about Carey Price. I was very happy about some news this week. Continue.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. So J.J. Peterka traded from Buffalo to Utah for Josh Jones and Michael Kesselring.
What's Buffalo doing?
J.J. signed a 5-year contract, $7.7 million cap hit with Utah. People are actually low-key high on this one for the Sabres because people are saying Kesselring could be a very good defenseman. And Josh Doan, people are high on him as well as a prospect.
Go back to 2021 and see who was on the Buffalo roster and where they are.
Oh, I know. It's insane.
Oh, I couldn't believe it when I seen it. We're not going to take the time to bring it up.
Reinhart,
anybody else?
Eichel,
oh, my God.
Montour.
Was Bennett there too?
No, he was in Calgary.
Calgary, yeah. Well, did you see that? Who was on that?
Buffalo, you look at the players that passed through there in the past 10 years. It's insane
how
they
last
haven't made the
5 alone.
And how they haven't sniffed the playoffs is insane.
Anyways, if you're a real big hockey fan, just go take a look at Buffalo. Not last 10 years, yes, but the last 5 years alone, I went, oh my God.
It's a little sad that they got rid of Peterka. I guess they didn't want to pay him. But, I mean, we'll see. Kesselring could be a good player. Doan could be a good player as well, right?
Hoping for Buffalo,
too. Jamie Benn back with the Dallas Stars on a 1-year, $1 million deal where he can earn up to $3 million in bonuses, where he gets $500,000 each for 20 games played, 30 games played, 50, 60. If they win the Western Conference, it's another $500,000. If they win the Stanley Cup, another $500,000.
I want to make the announcement about the guy that I predicted would take less than $5 million, but we'll get there.
Jamie, not Ben? Oh, well, we'll get to that. Florida gets their backup goalie, Daniil Tarasov, from Columbus for a 5th rounder. Here's the news you just alluded to. John Tavares signing a 4-year deal, $4.38 million per season to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I breathed a huge sigh of relief after this one, especially after hearing that they weren't close in negotiations, but him signing for under 4.5 for 4 years is a huge win for the Leafs.
Would I tell you, he'd have to come in under 5. What did I say? You're going to keep him? They're all going to be happy? Is he building a house in Peterborough or something? Did I hear some rumors?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Anyways, I forget the two girls who I met at St. Louis the other night. Her license plates are Toronto Leaf, and it's Leaf Nut. I loved riling them up. They might listen to me, but I had those girls.
I'm feeling they won't be after that.
And then they all went out to smoke with Gail. They said, "Who is this guy?" She go, "Oh, do you know he's a Hab fan?" They came back in, you! It was hilarious.
Gail ratted you out, eh?
Yeah, she shouldn't have said. I didn't say nothing, but when they came back in, their demeanor definitely changed when they heard about. Because I wasn't saying nothing. I said I'm on the fence here. And when they came back in and found out I was a Hab guy,
you disingenuous.
They never asked me. I didn't say nothing.
Oh, I'm on the fence. Yeah,
I
bullshit.
didn't say nothing. But when they came in with shotguns over their shoulders, I said, "Oh, this has changed."
Yeah, you're lucky they didn't come in with rocket launchers.
That's what I'm saying. And when they went out there, we'll get back to this conversation. Yeah. They came back in with shotguns. I said, "This is not going good."
So now a move that you were excited for. The Habs getting Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders for picks 16 and 17 in the draft, as well as Emil Heineman immediately after Dobson signing an 8-year, $9.5 million, $8 by $9.5 million contract with the Habs. A lot of money, but for a very good defenseman.
And I'm going to say this, too. It's the first time with the NHL. You know, the NHL is the only league that's ever announced that they're going to have that much of a salary cap in 2 years. Football, basketball never tell you nothing. That's good about hockey because you know what that means? In 2 years from now, if he plays as well as we think he's going to do with the new salary cap, he's going to be a solid guy to have on the team. And we've signed all the young guys. The only guys we're going to have to worry about in the future is Slavkovsky and Gooley.
Yeah.
Oh, and Montapom.
Gooley's locked in, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, Gooley, I think Gooley's locked in. But Montapom isn't, but he's still how long you want to lock him in for?
We don't quite know what he is as a goalie, right?
Exactly, but he's getting there. But when I heard Noah Dobson, I went from one extreme to the other. I was pissed to go, because remember we were talking about he was a potential Team Canada guy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Had a little bit of a lackluster season last year.
Because I think the whole
Islanders thing.
Got out of control.
Now, the thing for the Habs is I don't think this was the biggest need for you guys, but getting a right shot D with some offensive punch certainly helps. But
at 24 years old?
Sure. Who's going to be your second line center, though? Who's playing with Demidov?
Yager.
Put in the call?
Put in the call, yeah. Yager.
We move Patrick Laine to center like Columbus tried?
And then you know what's really weird? When they talk about our top 6 defensemen in Montreal, really say quick, Matheson's name's still there.
I told you he's not going away. But 1 year left on his deal, so we'll see. Cruz is banging his head into the mic.
He did play a little bit better in the series against Washington, but so what? Bye-bye.
Yeah. Colorado trades Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood to Columbus for a prospect, pick 77, and a second-round pick in 2027, opening just under $8 million in cap space for the Avalanche. A little bit surprising there.
Very surprising. Are they one of those teams that's scared of are they they're worried about the cap a lot? They got capologists.
Well, they had to make some space because they were right up against it with a bunch of contracts left to sign. This tells me that they're probably going to bring back Drouin because he's a free agent.
Yeah, but they'll bring him he'll get that discount. He'll play for the discount.
I don't know how much of a discount, but
what's he going to get? Is he going to get Tavares money?
No, not Tavares.
Thank you.
He's not a center, but
okay, but he's winning. What's he going to get? You get $2 million a year. Be happy, buddy.
I think he's going to get over 3.
Really?
Yeah. He's been very productive in Colorado. He deserves it.
Solid. I mean, I wish he played like that in Montreal.
Yeah, but Miles Wood, I thought it was a bit of an overpayment, so I don't think that's a bad move for Colorado, especially getting some guys back that could have some value down the future.
Yep. But I was just sorry they just coiled and they let him go.
I guess he just wasn't as much of a fit as they hoped for.
He didn't look like it in the playoffs.
Yeah,
when you go back and look at it, I thought that was a great pick.
I think he fits Columbus' system a lot better.
We'll see. We shall see. Okay.
He's played well in Boston, played well in Minnesota, this guy. Trent Frederick's deal with Edmonton is official. 8 years, $3.85 million per.
What's his age again? 26?
I think this could be a solid deal. For that cap hit, as third line center.
For the next
8 years.
Yeah, it could be with the cap going up. That's what I thought of. It was pretty good. And he's got to be a little bit more productive.
I thought he was pretty good in the playoffs.
Yes, yeah. He played better in the playoffs. He stood out in the playoffs.
Now he's going to have a full training camp with the team.
There you go.
Brendan Saad signing a 1 year, $2 million deal to stay in Vegas. One of the big ones here, Sam Bennett, an 8x8 deal to stay in Florida.
Joke.
What, should have got more?
No, I should have got less. Wait till the 8 years, last 3 years.
You're bitching that he got more?
No, but
he's in our division. You should be happy.
Good. Because down the road, those last 3 years, what is he? 30 years old, right?
Yeah, he was drafted 2014, so yeah, about 30.
Okay, here's my metrics on this, okay? I look at it this way. How big is Sam Bennett? He plays way bigger than his size, right? Plays way bigger than his size. Those guys wear down. Trust me, they do.
I'm not complaining.
Okay, so that guy's going to wear down. What I think is absolutely amazing about sports is he's getting all this money for what he already did.
That's how sports works.
And it's just insane because he did a couple of good playoffs. They got the 2 rings. So I look at it this way as Florida. It's worth paying them for those 2 rings. But there's down the road, as sure as I'm sitting here and you're touching my dog Stanley there, the last couple of years of this contract, but it
might turn out quicker than that. We've seen how quickly it fell apart for like LA and Chicago.
True. So guess what? He'll be traded at trade deadline. Is it no trade contract?
Probably.
In Florida?
Let me quickly check that in Puckpedia.
I was stunned. I would have said 6. He got the max.
Which is going to be more than it is in a couple years.
And the bottom line, which is really cool, is that's the Florida ownership says, thank you very much. Here you go. And you can't get away with that. You can't deny that.
No move.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, full no. That's what he said. If I'm going to be here, because he didn't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah, he had his Wolf of Wall Street, INF and leaving moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of deal. And you knew he was going to sign, but for $8 million, bro.
I told you, because he turned down they offered him the 8x7, which is the Verhaeghe deal. He told him to kick rocks.
So give me one more year.
No, same amount of years, $1 million more per year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But you know what? Everyone here, Sam Bennett, like hockey right now, he's still one of the biggest names going. He just won the Conn Smythe. You know what I mean? But a 50-point guy.
I ain't complaining. Yeah, never touched 60.
What?
Never touched 60 points.
Never touched 60. So he's getting paid for intangibles.
Yes. So we had the draft also this weekend. Matthew Schaefer, the defenseman, going first overall. It's the Islanders.
He's deserving.
Yeah, tragic story too. He lost his mother, lost his billet mother. Sad stuff.
When I heard that stuff, that crushed me. Like, I had no idea. Sometimes I wish they wouldn't tell you these stories because you immediately sad. Would you want more?
No, I'm good with the coffee. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Michael Misa, we heard rumors about character issues, though. Might have slipped, but San Jose jumping on that one. Now, all of a sudden, 3 very good, very talented forwards are going to be playing with this team. I'm assuming Misa's going to make the Sharks next year.
Oh, I think he is, too. Well, with their lineup.
Yeah, Celebrini, Misa, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Could be very interesting.
And the other guy, too. Don't they have the Swede, too?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Eklund.
Yeah, so they should be...
Tyler Toffoli, still there.
Mm-hmm.
Anton Frundell going number 3 to Chicago. The only other big trade was John Gibson going to the Detroit Red Wings for...
Interesting.
Peter Mrazek, a 4th-round pick next year and a 2nd-round pick the year after. A lot of people... not too thrilled with this one. There's actually a little bit of a debate with me and my friends. I think this is a good move for the Red Wings.
I do too.
I don't think it's that much of a risk for a goalie. Like, sure, Mrazek has had some injury problems. People are like saying some of his numbers are bad, but like he's also been with the terrible Anaheim team.
Thank you.
He's going to Detroit now, better team.
Better squad in front of him.
Not much risk for potentially high reward. I like this move for the Wings.
I do very much so. And how many times have you hearing the scuttlebutt around the league of people are looking for goalies whose name came up first?
Yeah.
So they didn't care about Anaheim. They knew it was a shit team.
And he's only getting paid like what, $2 million more against the cap than Mrazek.
And he's how old?
Not that old.
Thank you very much.
Late 20s?
Yeah,
early 30s?
Yeah, in the prime of goalies.
Yeah.
So it should be pretty good. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good move there. My thing, this is looking like it's not going to come into fruition for the Leafs, but what do you think of the prospect of trading Anthony Stolarz?
Dangerous.
Because my thing is, his value is never going to be higher.
So you want to miss the playoffs?
No. It's the Leafs. You could sign another goalie. It's fine. You got Wall. I'm just saying, if that's something that the team, it's looking like it's not going to happen, but it's something that I think the team should definitely explore.
No, I think definitely not. One of you guys.
But there's no good goalie free agents. You can, I think you could take advantage of that.
Listen, the
affordable
reason you guys
led the league in save percentage.
Why did you guys win the division?
Goaltending and defense.
What do you have on your team
Coaching.
that nobody?
There's a lot of reasons.
Okay, but look, what do you have? You're the only team in the league. Think about this: 2 signed goalies and 6 signed defensemen. All
7
under
signed
10.
defensemen.
7 signed defensemen
For the next 2 years.
Nobody in the league. Nobody. 0. Mushum 0-0. What do you got to win with? Goalies and freaking defense. So, you know what I'm saying? And now you're going to trade him just to get in after you're going to let your 100-point winger go?
I'm saying explore that. If you can get a king's ransom for it, I think they should do it.
What's a king's ransom?
That
First
depends.
rounder.
Maybe, I don't know, some guys to help you up front, because obviously we're going to miss Marner. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's just say out of nowhere it wouldn't happen. Let's just pick a team like Edmonton.
Okay.
Edmonton needs a goalie.
Sure. Maybe 2.
So, now that they have a goalie, first of all, they got salary cap problems. Stolarz is signed.
Yes.
So they're good with that. What are they going to give up? First round draft choice is definitely got to be in there.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit down the road, though.
Doesn't matter. Leafs need it because the Leafs got no draft capital.
No, but also that could be like, hey, you're not going to give us a first till then. Like, give us a second as well. That's earlier, something like that.
Okay, so that's going to be. But do you think a second? Okay, they get the first rounder in 5 years and a second next year. Is that enough for Stolarz right now?
No, more.
Okay, so now you got to get 2 players. What's Edmonton going to give up for you? Giving you Bouchard? I don't think so.
No, not Bouchard.
They're not giving you Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
No.
And they're not going to give you. They're not giving you Hyman back.
No.
Okay, who else is on that team? You might be. Oh no, he left town. Camping.
I don't think it would work with Edmonton, but
so any team in the league, you're going to say you want a king's ransom. You can pick another team out of the hat. Who's going to?
I don't know. San Jose, maybe.
You ain't getting Celebrini.
Obviously not Celebrini. But I don't know. Maybe Eklund. Maybe some draft picks. I don't know.
Is Eklund coming to Toronto? The Florida guy.
Florida guy.
Aaron Ekblom.
Ekblad? No. Leafs are already locked in defense. He is going to hit free agency, though.
I heard 3 or 4 rumors last day that Toronto.
So what D are we trading away?
That's why I said it's fraud. It's fraud.
Because the Leafs are already being connected to another defenseman in the Marner sign and trade rumors. So do you want to jump right into that?
Yeah, but no, okay, let's go there. What defenseman from Vegas, right?
So Nicholas Roy is the one, or Waugh, whatever. He's the one that everyone seems to think would be coming back to Toronto.
24 years old.
Yes, and then Nicholas Hague is the other guy, the defenseman. He's the one that, like, some guys are, like, not so sure, but the name has still been out there enough where...
Which guy's the 24-year-old?
I believe Hague, the defenseman.
Then that's the guy they want. That have to be in the Marner deal.
I think Roy would be a great guy to pick up, too. He's big, has a bit of a scoring touch.
Isn't he?
I don't think he's that old. Let me see.
I think Hague's the younger of the 2, isn't he?
So Nicholas Roy is 28, and Hague is 26.
Okay,
2 guys in their prime.
Closer than I thought. I thought Hague was a little bit younger. Either one I'm going to get, but I'm going... the only reason they would do that is so they could get some draft capital of some kind. Don't they want to get a draft? Yeah.
Well, I think it begins with that. And, like, obviously, I think draft picks would have to be part of it.
How many times is there a sign and trade in the NHL? Like, this will be
Never.
a rarity. This is Haley's
But
comic
Vegas needs to make cap space.
Oh, big time. They can't sign Marner as of July. If they sign Marner of July 1st with the way it is now, which they're allowed to do.
Well, they can't.
Well, you can't you? Just
no, because you can only go over by like 10%, and I think they would be over by 10% if that was the case.
But does not mean you can cut it all down by training camp?
Vegas has got a lot of shit to figure out, put it that way. Or actually, I think they could technically do it now, but like, I think they'd want to get more of their house in order before that. So I think a sign and trade makes a lot of sense. And
I don't see it happening.
So a part of it too is that Marner, at this report, he's already in Vegas looking for homes. The NHL is looking for it's rumored. So tampering has been a problem in the NHL.
They're not going to prove it.
Hold on though. The rumor is around the GMs that the NHL is looking for a poster child, someone they could like throw.
Oh.
So the rumor is that the Leafs will be like, okay, we won't go after you if you give us some guys back.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is coming from Friedman.
That's a very reliable source.
Makes sense.
This is dirty.
I love it.
This is dirty.
Hey, well, if they're going to be tampering, hey, it's against the rules.
Just because you're on that side of the fence. Wow. I just think, when I heard this shit, I thought it was bullshit. Yeah, okay. Something to talk
Things
on a
are
slow
adding up,
news
though.
day.
Vegas needs to make cap space, potential avoiding tampering.
So Vegas, you know what? He just went to Vegas to gamble. That's all. Martin went down to gamble with some of the boys.
so.
He was meeting Matthews there because Arizona's not far from freaking Vegas. They had a weekend together, do some shit, talk about.
It's all second-hand hearsay.
Second-hand hearsay. There you go. Because Matthews is getting ready for his wedding, and he still wants Marner there.
Of course.
Well, there you go.
But either way, a sign and trade is, which I called. I was actually backing off on this. I was like, oh, it may have been a bad take, but maybe happening after all.
If they sign and take, I'll go, wow.
It might not even be the full 8-year deal, but it might still happen either way.
So what if he stays in Toronto for 5 years and 12
Not
million?
happening. Not happening. That ship has sailed.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
A few more other things for the NHL. So it looks like we're getting a new CBA. So the rumor is that the max contracts is going to drop 1 year. So if you stay, it's only going to be 7 years. If you have free agency, I agree with that too. It should probably be less.
I'd say 6.
Yeah, 6 if you stay, and 5 if you hit the open market.
Yeah, 6 only to save the owners from themselves.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'm thinking of. Come on.
Then I think I was reading they're going to change the LTIR rules.
I'll believe that when I see it.
And there was another, 84 games. We're going to 84 games.
Another fucking cash cow.
But they're lowering the amount of preseason games.
So what?
I think that's a good move.
Why don't they go back to 78 games and everyone be healthy and it'll be a little bit better? So then we don't have to be playing hockey till June. I'm with Brunt. What's his name? 100%.
Yeah, LeBrun.
Hockey should be done by May 31st. Should not play a game one day beyond May 31st.
I'm okay with the finals dragging into like early June. Finals over by June 7.
I'll compromise.
Okay.
You
have a deal.
Okay, we'll compromise.
Obviously, free agency begins tomorrow. I'm very excited. Anything else you want to talk about for hockey?
No, is it free agency tomorrow? No.
July 1st?
No, July versus Tuesday.
Oh, what am I saying? Yeah, Tuesday is July. Yeah.
Don't get me there till I get there, okay?
I'll be home, actually, to watch that. So
yeah, it should be interesting.
Anything else?
No.
All right, we'll move this over to our soccer report where we're going to talk about a team that we haven't talked about for a long time, Toronto FC.
They won a game.
They won against Portland 3-0 last night, a very formidable Timber squad that they held to zero shots on goal. Reds still 11 points out of the play-in and sitting 13th in the East with 15 matches left to go.
I must admit there was 2 beautiful goals in that game last night. Like really nice goals.
Where was that, the rest of the year?
I don't know, but they still got time.
15 games to go. You're up by 11 points.
But I mean, they'd have to win 10.
Yeah, you got to start winning yesterday.
What happens when they don't make the playoffs now? Is this team going to be completely dismantled? Pelly's involved in this too.
Called this, though. I think they're just waiting for Insigne to leave because he's got another year on his contract, though.
For next year, too?
Yeah. So it might be a little bit rough because that helps. Obviously, you only have 3 international spots, right?
Right.
Or designated players, they call them.
Well, I look at it this way. If Pelly bitch slapped the Leafs and he bitch slapped the Raptors.
Well, I mean, the president who was kind of the architect of all this nonsense is already gone. He was
fired last year. They already fired him. That's true, too. So he's that. See, this is Pelly's. I'm the man.
Exactly.
The only one he hasn't touched yet is the Blue Jays, but he really can't touch them.
They're not under MLSE yet. That's rumored to be happening once the sale is official, though.
That's what I'm hearing, too.
It wouldn't make sense.
From a corporate point of view. But you're going to give Pelly all of that?
I think the Blue Jays need a little bit of a kick in the ass, too, so I would welcome that.
Perhaps, maybe.
But keeping it with soccer, TFC next game is Thursday against New York City FC. That's at home. Moving to the CONCACAF Gold Cup, Canada tied 1-1 versus Curacao in Houston after allowing a late equalizer, unfortunately. It was not their best match. But they clinched first place in Group B, which Canada never does in this tournament. A 2-0 win against El Salvador in Houston. Jonathan David and Buchanan with the goals in that one. El Salvador given 2 red cards for their dirty shit in that one. That was a nasty game. Marsh returned in that one. His suspension was not extended, thank God.
Of course, it's you know what? That means it's a pitching match. If you had to give him another game suspension, that's because those guys were being bigger bitches than him. Like when all the cards hit the table, okay, they said something, fuck you. Everyone does that every day. So since he said, whoa, we better give more suspensions.
Cooler heads prevailed, I suppose.
Yes.
Canada will play Guatemala tonight in the quarterfinal. The winner of that one will play the winner of USA Costa Rica in the semifinal.
And you know what? Everyone's looking for the American. That you know what? If they play the semifinals,
that'll be huge.
That's going to be the game of the tournament. It's too bad it couldn't be the finals.
Well, I mean, Mexico's on the other side of the bracket, so don't count them out.
No, I agree. But Canada and America has both beaten Mexico in the last bunch of times, which is very rare for both of them to beat Mexico at that time.
The state of their soccer squad isn't that good, though.
There's nothing good to be said about American soccer because they're all bitches.
Good.
You know what I mean? Every time I turn around, I like you. I don't like your father. I like the car you drive. Get a new coat. Oh, it's just pathetic.
So we're hoping for a Canada-USA semi, obviously.
100%. I hope we kick the shit out of them.
Absolutely. Into the FIFA Club World Cup, onto the round of 16 is Palmeiras from Brazil, Inter Milan, PSG, Botafogo, also from Brazil, Benfica, Bayern, Flamengo, another Brazilian squad, Chelsea, despite losing 3-1 to Flamengo, Inter, Monterrey, Dortmund, and Fluminense, another Brazilian squad. 4 of them going on to the next round. Also on Juve, Manchester City, who won their group in a 5-2 win over Juve after both of them had already clinched. Real Madrid and Al Hilal. Surprisingly, the eliminated teams were Porto and Atletico Madrid.
I was surprised, but look who they had to play. They had to play PSG, didn't they?
Still.
So I expect that when I see them...
Two teams make it out of the group, though.
I know, but yeah, you're right. But I wasn't, like, when I seen them playing in there, because, you know, they fell down in the early game.
Yeah, that was their problem.
When they lost that, was it lost or tie? Where was that?
They lost their opener.
Yeah, that was not a good sign. I said, look who else is there. Then they ran up against these guys, and they said, go home. You know, I'm very surprised, because, you know, I was one of the teams that's kind of cheering for.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call it again. Listen, you German guys that make aspirin, you guys got to win. Bayern Munich going to win.
No, different team you're thinking of.
Isn't it the same
You're
one?
getting confused with Bayer Leverkusen. They're not in the tournament.
So who's these guys?
Bayern Munich. They're the ones with like Harry Kane and.
Yeah. But I still say that this team should be going there. They should be.
They're not the aspirin team though.
Okay, but anyhow, the other ones are. But this is these guys aren't they one of your favorites?
Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of the favorites of the tournament, I suppose.
If they win it all, I won't be surprised. But I'm going to tell you what. Here's what I think is really amazing about this, and we're really quick because the show's running long. I'm not a soccer guy. I probably never will be, but I understand the creating levels of competition. This is the inaugural cup, right?
Well, the inaugural in this format, because usually this was like just an 18 tournament that they did around Christmas time.
Yeah.
This is the first time they expanded it to be like huge.
Yeah, and it's not going away because the success of this is already there. Look what just happened. The gods of soccer have given them. Messi against PSG.
Yes. So,
wow.
So obviously we're into the round of 16 now. Palmeiras beat Botafogo 1-0 after extra time, with Paulinho scoring the winner in the 100th minute, an all-Brazilian matchup. Chelsea topped Benfica 4-1 after extra time. Well, it went to extra time, though, but they just exploded in there after Di Maria tied the match for Benfica in the 95th minute, so Chelsea just exploding in extra time. Messi will play his former club PSG in the round of 16 today, as will Flamengo and Bayern Munich will go at it. Inter and Fluminense, another Brazilian squad, will go at it tomorrow, as will Manchester City and Al Hilal. And the day after that, Real Madrid Juventus should be a great match, and Dortmund Monterrey.
Dortmund keeps hanging around those guys. You got to like it. Okay, but here's the deal. Okay? Now they had a big chance to do something in Inter Miami. Is that the Beckham team? No, he's Inter LA.
No, he is an Inter Miami owner, isn't he?
I can't remember.
He played for LA Galaxy. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Okay, in any event, they took a shit kicking by PSG because that's an MLS team against a Premier League from France.
What do you mean?
Where does Inter Milan play?
Inter Miami?
Yeah.
They play in MLS.
And where does PSG play? French Premier League?
Why, they played already?
It says here 4-0, doesn't it?
What? I haven't checked the score.
It's right here in front of me live. 4-0.
Wow. PSG also doesn't have their starters in this one.
Still, they're the Champions League champion.
Who's playing for them, though?
Do they don't care about this tournament?
A lot of guys don't have their best players there.
I heard that, but doesn't matter. That's 4-0. That's 4-0, bro. What's going to happen to Miami? Messi.
Or they're going to fix it for them to win. No, PSG's up 4-0.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Inter's up 4-0.
No. PSG's up 4-0.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I'm saying. That's the French Premier League against an MLS team.
Yeah.
I expect that score. Right? So what's going to happen?
Well, Inter Miami, they're like, what, 6th in the MLS right now. They're not even that good this year.
How did they decide which teams? They pulled them out of a hat?
It's based on last year's results.
Okay, so now...
Inter, they won the regular season last year, so they probably made it in based on that.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to go bet money to... Oh, I got to bet now because the game's already starting, right?
Which one?
Messi against PSG.
Yeah, that's going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're losing 4-0.
Sorry, Messi. Yeah, sorry. That's what's going to happen to every MLS team. You're not...
Well, they're the last ones left in this tournament.
I'm surprised they even got this far. You know what I mean?
Well,
But the greatness, what I'm getting at is that what I love about this is that I don't know how they fixed it out, but this is like club teams from all over the world, and here's how I think it works. I think it's a lot to do with the Saudis pulling all those teams for tournaments over there and getting success, throwing all that money at them over there. So those teams played those cool tournaments. It exposes it more like on the national, so DAWs and all these networks can get involved and they show more.
DAZN, you mean?
DAZN, yeah, and they all get the things together. But what about this is this includes North America now in a way that's never really been considered before, because MLS has always been considered ghetto. You know that in the world of soccer.
Even though you look at in the whole soccer tapestry, I guess they're like probably still a top 10 league in the world.
Oh, MLS?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. That may be 10th. Maybe
Still.
better. Okay. Oh, no. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, here's my theory, according to Jack Cruz. I'm just saying, here's what's happening here. In order to get more people, get more eyeballs on, because Premier League and all those leagues, La Liga and all, is getting more and more popular over here, right? Okay, so how do you get your teams involved? You get this tournament here, and you go, oh, all of a sudden, like 1 year, Toronto could be in this tournament. Not next year.
No.
Okay, but I mean, maybe 1 year.
Maybe in 5 years.
Hopefully, but you know what I'm saying? But so there'll always be an underdog team here, no matter how you look at it. So I think it's a really, really good. I got my attention.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Wow, all these teams get together. You know what it's kind of like when they said they were going to make that Super League in Europe, and they kicked it to the curb because then that little team would never have the chance. Then over here, what they've done
didn't quite work like that, but
you know what I'm saying? So like now they're opening the door for the little team to get in a big tournament in a weird way.
But the little boy never wins the World Cup.
Never.
No.
And that's why that's what I was looking at. I was wondering about PSG Miami. Yeah, no, Inter Milan. No, maybe he's in any there. I forgot. I got it mixed up because I always see the Inter. I just thought they were Miami. But in any event, I expected this to happen. Come on.
I mean, it was predictable.
They were talking about this on Pardon the Interruption.
Oh, of course.
And I went, whoa, this has got this level? And you know, Kornheiser and his take on soccer.
No, but Wilbon's a soccer guy.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, and Tony's going, yeah, okay. And then Tony's going, don't you think that PSG's going to bitch slap him? He didn't say that, but he basically said, I don't know a lot about this shit, but if I was a betting man, I smell a beating coming here.
Yeah, so it looks like PSG is going to play Bayern Munich in the next round. Although Flamengo could pull off an upset. We've seen how some of the Brazilian teams have been doing here.
I think they're going to do it, and that's a drag too, because that means they're only going to play in the semifinals, right?
Quarters, yeah,
quarterfinals. Too bad. That'd be a great championship game.
Hey, that's how it works in these tournaments.
Oh yeah,
you gotta go home at some point.
No. Real Madrid's still around too. So
yeah, they play Juventus though.
That's going to be more fun.
Anything else for soccer? So we just a couple more things. Florian Wirtz sold from Bayer Leverkusen. That's your aspirin team to Liverpool for a record £116 million.
What?
Biggest sale in soccer history, isn't it?
I'd say so.
Fenway Sports putting all their money into this and none of the Red Sox, apparently, which I say go ahead.
That's good. We don't have a problem with that.
And lastly, Pogba coming back after his 2-year doping ban. He will join Monaco this coming season.
What was that all about? And he's not that old yet. He's in his 30s, right?
Yeah. He was suspended 2 years because of doping.
Yeah, but it wasn't his first case. He sounded like one of those guys who was jacking his ass every day. You don't get
whatever the case may be.
You don't get thrown out for 2 years just because you took a pill to try to increase your fertility.
Well, either way. Anything else for soccer?
No, we're good.
We'll move us over to the CFL where we just have a little preview. Toronto will play in Ottawa tonight, hoping to get back into the win column for the first time this season after a horrible 0-3 start to the season. Very winnable game, I suppose. Ottawa 1-2 to start the year, so hopefully Toronto can get it done. But of note, the coach is confident that Chad Kelly will be available July 17. So hopefully around the corner.
If they lose tonight, their season's over.
Yeah, he can't come back from 0-4, even in the CFL.
No, anywhere. No. Even if, because first of all, you got to guarantee win your next 4 to get to 500. And teams like
Although 500 teams can make the playoffs in the CFL.
Then they better scramble like no tomorrow, because Winnipeg's looking angry.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Saskatchewan's good.
But we don't got to worry about them in the East.
That's why it's weird in the East, because I can't believe that Hamilton slapped Montreal.
Good.
Friday night. Did you see that?
Win this week?
Yeah, on Friday night. I was watching the game. I was waiting for Montreal to take over.
Bo Levi Mitchell becomes the 10th quarterback in CFL history to reach 100 career wins.
Wow.
And the fastest to accomplish the feat.
Wow.
Good for him.
Congratulations, definitely.
Anything else you want to add about the CFL?
No, we're good.
We'll move this over to the PWHL, where some interesting moves happened. They, of course, had their draft this week.
Mm-hmm.
New York Sirens selecting the Czech Colgate center, Kristina Kaltunkova, first overall.
She went to Colgate, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
But Toronto making some big moves. They traded picks 3 and 27, their first and fourth rounders, for Ella Shelton from New York. The 27-year-old was the first team All-Star and Defender of the Year finalist in the inaugural season of the league. But even more interesting, they traded goaltender Kristen Campbell in their third selection, 19th overall, to Vancouver for a second and third round picks, 16 and 23 overall, where they took a couple of American forwards, Kiara Zanin from Ohio State and Clara Van Wieren from Minnesota Duluth.
I'm just going to say this. I'm not watching the PWHL to know everything, but apparently the Toronto, their other goalie was ready to play.
Yeah.
That's what they've been saying. Like I go, because I mean, she's a good goalie. I thought, what are you doing? But they said the kid that they have would have been probably starting on any other team in the league. They had no more time to leave her on the bench. They got to get her out there. So we'll see.
I'm surprised that Campbell wasn't picked up by like Vancouver or Seattle in the expansion draft.
Was she exposed?
She was.
Wow.
So I don't know how this quite happened where Vancouver traded for her, but either way, she's a Vancouver now, I suppose.
That's crazy.
And Toronto picking up a lot in the draft as well. They picked up another forward. And we boosted up our blue line a little bit. Looking good for the Scepters. Wishing them the best.
You got it.
Anything else for the PWHL?
No.
All right. We will keep this moving to the WNBA, where some news came out that the Golden State Valkyries, the first WNBA team valued at $500 million.
How did that happen?
Money coming in. I guess they're selling out. There's got to be some, I don't know.
I think they're Seattle team, right?
Golden State.
Golden State, yeah. There was a bunch of money was poured into the team, yeah. And the whole Warriors organization and sponsors and shit all got that on there. It's absolutely amazing. You're going to have a expansion team and do as well as you do.
And they're off on a great start.
8-7.
Yeah.
8-7. They're going to be in the hunt there right now. But there's an interesting fact about that. I mean, value that. Does anyone give residuals to Caitlin Clark?
Well, speaking of Indiana, they are valued at $335 million. So a third of a bill for a team in Indiana, not bad.
Yeah, I'd say so too, considering what they're being there. And did you just heard the stat the other night? They played in Dallas, but Caitlin Clark couldn't play. She's got that nagging injury, right? Sold out. They've had 20,000 seaters, whatever it is. 18 belong to Caitlin Clark.
Wow.
It's just an outrageous number when I heard it, because they were saying, because I was watching the game. I've been watching a little bit of WNBA. Bottom line is, you know who my favorite player is in the NBA?
WNBA?
Yeah, you know who my favorite player is, right?
Her teammate?
How did you know? Lucky guess?
Her Instagram.
You know what? I really didn't pay, because I'm not on social media enough that I didn't know that, even though I don't want to talk about anthropology or anything like that when it comes to her, because, I'll get myself in trouble. But what sold me on her is I did see her play a little bit tough, but when she body slammed that girl, what's her name? That little bitch
what's her name? Yeah.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, when she body slammed her, I said, "You're my new favorite player," because I love Frontier Justice, and the abuse that Caitlin takes is unbelievable,
insane.
It's just I've never seen in the history of sports on any level, on anything. Is that Zach? I'm going to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. Is it because
Mabry's the player you're thinking of?
Yeah,
Connecticut.
Yeah. Okay, got you. Are we allowed to say? No, I better not say that word, because then it could set an algorithm. The L word.
Yeah, just leave that out.
Yeah. You're teaching me well. You're teaching me a
Some
lot.
things are left better unsaid.
That's right. I
think you played your cards a little bit too much there anyways, but...
What? I was talking about loonies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I was talking about.
You should have said love.
I love loonies. Okay, that's all I'm getting at. Anyways, there's an interesting thing going on in the WNBA. We don't have a lot to talk about it. The Lynx and the Liberty will be there at the end. There's no doubt. Asia Wilson, can we just get back to her? We're going to talk about the WNBA.
Fastest player to 5,000 points.
Best player in the league.
Hands down.
Okay, and it's interesting. We like the whole thing about tide raising all the boats, but we do have to recognize the fact that there's other skilled players in the league. I like Asia Wilson's handle.
Yeah.
Wow, she's just, you know what I mean? She kind of, what is she, the female who?
I don't know.
Not Iverson.
She's very good.
She's outrageous. And you know what? She goes in, you know what? She crashes into, like she goes into the paint.
Oh, she uses her size.
Yeah. She goes into the paint. She can shoot.
Yeah.
But she's not afraid to go into the paint. Like, here we're going to go. That's why I see some of the teams that they're liking, like the new Seattle team, and of course the Fever are all favorites and shit. When it gets to push come to shove, we know who's going to be there.
Yeah, Lynx are my favorites to win it this year, especially after how it ended last year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got it. And also, going back to the team values, every team's value is up more than 100% from 12 months ago.
100%. Did you hear that?
The rising tide that floats all boats.
Thank
Wonder
you.
who I could be talking about.
And not only that, we haven't even got Toronto playing their first season till
next year.
Is it next year? And who else is coming in with them?
I think they're coming in alone because Golden State already got their
team.
Yeah,
Got you.
The league's going to be at 14 teams next year. Anything else for the WNBA?
No. But watch the games, people. They are actually quite good.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on that, and hopefully Caitlin Clark can return soon. We'll move us over to Formula One, where we had the race this morning. We are keeping an eye out of that, though, not knowing the results. But a bit of a surprising one as Lando Norris was on pole, Leclerc in second, Piastri third, and Verstappen was outqualified by Liam Lawson.
I seen that, but that was that yellow flag shit. Everything got weird. He should have kept his pedal to the metal. You know what? I love Max.
Yeah, Gasly fucked things up for a lot of drivers there.
Oh yeah, I thought Max would have enough experience to get around it. Don't you think that he couldn't get the pace back?
Well, he didn't have DRS in the front straight. That's why.
Yeah.
The yellow flag.
Yeah, so that dropped him to 7th, right? Oh, yeah.
Got it.
That's another weird... You know, I say every day I watch Formula One, I learn something new. And I went, what? So I had to rewind it because I watched the entire qualifying last night. It was very good qualifying, by the way. It was a great battle all the way through.
You see the guy with the big flag of Sid the Sloth from Ice Age dresses? Yeah, Verstappen.
Guy had a sense of ha-ha for sure. But it was a great qualifying because the back and forth was good. Mr. Lewis Hamilton didn't do as well as he thought.
He was still up there, though.
Yeah, was he top 5, though, right?
It
was 5th or 6th. I should look it up right here. It's right in front of me. But the bottom line is that I understand this yellow flag and the yellow car and all that shit. But what really weirds me out about it is that how it affects something like the whole race.
Oh, of course.
With that one little move, and then Verstappen couldn't do this. But
you got to do that because of safety.
100% safety first. Let's not deny that, okay? But to be caught in that situation,
it's unfortunate.
I wonder who Max went home and I wonder who went in there. Like who took his ire? Who took his ire? It's like, come on, Max didn't jump out of the car and say, "Okay, I can't wait till tomorrow." He ain't that guy.
No.
You know, he's ripping. Do you think it's going to... Oh, we won't know. We're going to find out in the race today.
I know how the race started. There were some interesting things that happened off the start.
Okay, don't tell me nothing.
I will not. Anything else for Formula One?
No, but please watch the race, everybody. It's a whole bunch of fun.
All right, we'll keep this moving. We are at the end of our show now. We'll move this over to trivia. Another question here provided by my wonderful brother, Steven.
Thank you very much, Steven. Didn't we say we were going to hold this down? I'm going to tell people that the show is probably a little bit longer than we thought it was going to be.
We're still under 3 hours.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, you know what makes it really cool? When you do hear the show, you probably won't hear it in one setting, but I'm going to blow some smoke up the House That Happens skirt right now in the sense that our producer across the table and my accomplice is you laid it out so that the flow is really good.
Oh, thank you.
No, seriously, like you know what you do? Go back and listen to a show from about a year ago. Go back and listen to a show.
I'm a little nervous.
What?
I'm a little nervous to do so. Actually, what I do want to do, I want to go through all of our old episodes and see like every bet we made with each other and see how.
Okay,
all
we'll
those
do
turned
that.
out.
We'll go to that. I think you're ahead. Could be close.
We'll see.
It'll be close. But yeah,
I think
it's
I owe
really
you
come
more
up.
than a couple beers.
I'm just saying, that this is a learning process, and we're getting there. So where we're going to go. First of all, you got to have
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, and I'm saying when I'm learning the history of podcasts, we're just opening the door. I didn't understand that. We're just opening the door. So we'll continue to be here. But anyway.
Oh, we're not going away.
No, definitely not. And here's another thing I want to say. Steven, thank you for the trivia questions. And I hope that your brother threw you that box of trivia stuff, that Sports Illustrated.
I did.
Cool. You didn't look at it, did you?
I did not.
Give it to him.
Can't compromise the integrity of the game.
That's why I was hoping that you would just give it straight to him and don't look. You guys can look it over beers another time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
All right, so our question looks to be hockey themed.
Thank you.
7 out of the top 10 players from the 2019 entry draft are no longer on the teams they were drafted by. Which
Buffalo?
3 of them are still with the team that drafted them? So 2019.
Montreal.
So wait, hold on. 2019, what draft is this?
I can't remember. That's 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Our guy, Habs got
That's the Slavkovsky one?
No, it might be the 6 years ago is Cofield. Could be the Cofield one. Yes, because he played in 21 against you guys in the playoffs. Remember, he just jumped up because
I thought he would have been you sure 2019?
Then it had to be Suzuki.
Yeah, but Caulfield was...
then he must have been 20 because remember, he came up in the playoffs against you guys.
Suzuki was like first year Vegas, so that would have been like 2017.
He hasn't been in the league that long.
He was drafted then.
17?
2017.
Already? I'm saying Cofield then. When was Gooley drafted?
No, but Caulfield wasn't top 10. He was in the teens.
Oh, it's a top 10.
Top 10.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Boy, 2019. Who would have been was that Owen Power?
Yes.
Or was he the year after? Okay, wait. So 2019.
Okay, Buffalo doesn't have theirs.
Unless it was Owen Power. But he might have been. Oh, geez. Steven,
you're tricking us.
I can't even think who went number 1 overall that year.
I can't either. I can't remember any of that shit. But once we start getting going. So that's 6 seasons ago. Suzuki was drafted in 2017. So that means he's a 29-year-old now, 28-year-old? 27.
27, yeah.
Years old. Okay, wow. Time flies.
Oh, boy.
Okay, what?
Oh! Was it the Hughes draft? Jack Hughes?
Oh, here we go. That makes sense. So Jack Hughes is still on his team.
Yes, he is.
So that means who's the number 2 pick? They're still on their team. Now it's coming to me. God, we can't look it up because then we'll know names. That's a bitch. Okay, so I'm going to say this, Steven. I'm not going to get the exact. Only 3 are the same?
Only 3 of the top 10 are still in their original teams.
Okay, so I'm going to say definitely Jack Hughes is on his team, and whoever was picked number 2 is still on their team. I'm willing to bet that.
Geez,
outside of that, I have no idea. I'm clueless. This is a great question, by the way.
Great question.
Really good question.
So reveal the answer?
Yeah, just 1 second, but I want to just say this for sure. 1 and 2, or is it 1 and 3? Both are still on their teams for sure. I'll bet that. Everything else, I'm clueless. What's the answer say?
Okay. Yeah, so Jack Hughes.
Yep.
And the next one is Alex Turcotte, drafted 5th overall by LA.
And he's still on his team?
Yes, he is.
So wasn't there?
So, and then Maurice Sider, number 6 to Detroit. So the ones who are not on the same team, Capo Caco went from the Rangers to Seattle. He was the number 2.
Okay.
Number 3 that year was Kirby Dach, who, of course, went from Chicago to Montreal.
Oh, that's why I had a Montreal thing in my brain.
Bowen Byram, 4th overall to Colorado, now on Buffalo.
Yeah.
Dylan Cousins went from Buffalo to Ottawa.
Yeah, I remember that.
Philip Broberg was offer sheeted from Edmonton to St. Louis. Trevor Zegras, Anaheim to Philly. And then Podkolzin went from Vancouver to Edmonton.
Wow. You know what? That's a Kirby Dach thing. I that's why I kept saying Montreal was in there. Something told me it was the Habs, but it was the other way around. They got the guy instead of going there, right? And what was Kirby Dach drafted again?
3rd overall.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying the 3rd, 1st and 3rd. Where did I get that? That's like half a brain.
Half a blowjob.
Half a blowjob. That's all. Because you get it. You know these things that stir in your mind where you go, I kind of, sort of. Then when it comes out, you go, oh yeah, secondhand hearsay.
So some other notes. This is just, I got notifications here. Julius Randle staying with the T-Wolves.
Of course.
3-year deal worth about $100 million.
Good for him.
I think it's a good deal. PSG blowing Miami away.
Oh, yeah, I expected
And then Marchand, apparently, if he leaves Florida, will be between Toronto and Boston.
I cannot believe that. And I'm going to just say this as we end our show. You know what? When he comes out of when the airplane lands and he's coming over, I'm going to puncture the tire that he gets in the limousine. If you fans of Toronto accept this guy happily, and you know what I'm going to say, he's good and bad and ugly in Toronto of all people because he's all hockey.
He'll tell the media where to go though, which I like.
What?
He'll tell the media where to go.
Oh, he'll be jumping on people. All the teams that now suddenly want him, like people that said horrendous things about him. Should I say the name of somebody that said horrendous about him now wants to welcome him? Because I never said, I'm just going to say, I never said he was a fraud, but now I'm going to say he's a fraud if he welcomes Marchand. That's all you need to know.
So this is all speculative.
No names need to be said. When we say fraud, a certain sports personality in this city is always on the joking end of being a fraud or not. Okay, so if
Are his initials SS?
No, but he's up there.
DF?
No, think about afternoon on TSN. The host.
Oh, BH.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah. When he welcomes Marchand to Toronto, I'm gonna go.
If he likes the move, if it happens.
He's been championing it a couple. I was blown away. I go, what? Who is this guy? I thought you were running around Maple Leaf Gardens when you were 4. So, buddy.
So what?
So what? You know what? If
the sign of growth, the sign of change.
If Marchand showed up in Montreal, I'd veto the team for a year. Come on.
I'm sure you would.
I see. Well, at least the first 5 games.
So what? Yeah, I'm sure. What event are you looking forward to the most this week? What sporting match?
Only one. I mean, it's a series actually. Yankees and the Blue Jays.
Oh, okay, that's my number 2.
What's your number 1?
Canada, Guatemala tonight.
Oh, right. Okay, because I'm not a soccer guy, so I'll put that at number 3.
Fair
okay.
enough.
Can we say one? No.
Also, NHL free agency. Very curious to see how July 1st shakes out. Even though it's not a tremendous free agent class, there's enough guys out there to make it interesting. Plus, I expect more trades.
That's the part I was going to get at because the jockeying for salary cap. Go look at Mr. Puckpedia. Mr. Puckpedia says shit's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going through the Puckpedia. You know, and I want to thank that because I don't watch them all the time, but my PVR picks them up. I just want to thank Jamie Noodles McLennan. You always get me to go to Puckpedia, and I do. But since it's been ending and stuff, he's a guy that always reminds you. Like, he's very astute with the numbers and shit like that. Yes. But he's weird anyway because he's a goalie. But the fact that
we're not that we're not weird.
Different weird.
Weird is weird. Dude.
Okay. If you want to do the weird factory, it's like when we talk about the different rooms of the Hall of Fame. I'm in this weird room. Noodles is over in this room. Weird.
But it's all in the weird house.
Exactly the way it is because I've done a lot of crazy ass shit in my life, and I was a goalie for about a while, and I did play some pickup games because I couldn't skate where guys fired pucks at me. One guy knocked me over, took a slap shot. I never felt it, but I went down because my balance wasn't good. And you know what they were even doing? If I may say it quickly, I've played about 5 organized hockey games on skates in my life, okay? But one night it was
5 more than me.
Okay, so this was when we were younger. This is going back to when I was like 20 years old, and they're playing at South Windsor Arena, and we all went there to party. But all of a sudden they got there and they said, oh, shit, man, we need a goalie. We got nobody's there. So I said, okay. So they strapped me on. The only problem was I was a left-handed goalie.
Oh, they had right-handed equipment?
So I had right-handed equipment. So what I had to do is they gave me the biggest regular glove that they could possibly give me for protection, and I had a baseball glove on my other hand because I couldn't have a trapper. Hit right in the chest, knocked on my ass, and then those bastards told me after the game that they were moving out of the way to see if they go, Cruz is crazy. He won't get out of the way. Watch, he won't get out of the way. Of course, I'm hardcore. I'm the goalie. I'm supposed to stop the puck. That's why I say when you let people shoot vulcanized rubber at you at about 100 miles an hour,
built different, as the kids say.
You got it. Is there anything else you want to bring to the table?
That's just about it. Happy Canada Day, everybody.
Very much a happy Canada Day. I hope everybody is safe, cool, and has a lot of fun. And until then, you going to take us out, bro?
My name is Andrew Milani.
My name is Cruz.
And what do? We
keep the vibe alive.
Do you have a question? We'll answer it on the air. Send it to thehousethathappens@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay, and SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and on X at House Happens.